I don't know. I don't know what the title is. Is that the title?
Health to the company.
Health to the company.
No, it's not.
Health. No, this is a great song.
Like
But
a Corpo, like Corpo
No.
company.
Yep.
No,
It fits.
company of your people that you're with.
Gotcha.
When he first told me about this song, that's exactly what I thought. I thought health to the company. This has got to be some kind of like satirical, tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
But talking about corporate life. But
So like right now, we're all here in company of each other.
Gotcha.
And so that's what that term means. Not like the company you work for. It's
Well-
the company you're with. And if that happens to be your company that you're doing business with, then so be it.
in the olden days, in the like Madrigal Renaissance kind of days, they would do stuff like that. They would use the term company to refer to a group of people too. So
Yeah.
your company.
Company, like I was thinking like a troubadour. No, a company of, what would you call that? A troop?
A troop, yeah.
A troop of troubadours?
A trap of troubadours.
Troubadour traps. A company.
This is PG, Chris. Top rated evangelical conservative in-flight magazine review podcast.
That's. I'm proud that you got through that.
Was good.
Yeah, and you keep telling me that. I don't know what it means yet.
Me neither.
I'm not sure if I've really subscribed to it just yet.
So a company though. That's interesting term.
Welcome to the show. I'm Chris. This is David.
Are we going to talk about companies?
Scotty and Chloe over there helping us out with the technical stuff. Lord knows I'm not in the brain space to do the technical stuff today. So.
Yeah, your headspace is interesting right now,
bro.
I'm not sure. Like, what you want to talk about it? You want to bottle that one up and
We can keep names out of it. Let's keep names out of it when we talk about it, because I don't want to.
do you want to go right into that topic, or do you want to try and like segue in through other stuff?
Let's try the segue. That sounds like more fun. Let's give that one a shot.
So I know it's like it's abrupt to go right into this, especially with some of the other topics we talked about. But I've been thinking a lot about
Cows.
video game culture. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get it out?
No, it's in.
Okay. Good job. Just roll it around on your tongue a little bit.
That's that ASMR, right?
Yeah. Wait. So, I was going through the attic where we're cleaning out the old house, and I found a box that has a bunch of my boxed video games that I'd bought at EB and GameStop and places like that. So I found like my Half-Life 2 box.
That's cool.
MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries.
That's cool.
What was the other? Battlefield 2, Battlefield 2142, and like a handful of others. Just still the like rectangle box about an inch thick. And I was like, David, come here. And I got David, my son, over, and I was like, listen, man, there was a time that we used to go and purchase games in a store.
Well,
and he was like, you mean like not on Steam? Base. I was like,
you mean Epic?
Yeah. Wait, what?
Like, you mean Epic, right?
Like the
you
game company, right?
Yeah. You buy your games on Epic now.
Oh yeah. No, I don't.
No. Does anybody actually? They give you free games actually now and again. They do. Like if you pay attention to them, like every now and again they give out a free game. Some of them are kind of decent. I want to say they give out, maybe it was Children of Morta not too long ago. Killer game, by the way. If you want to play like a Diablo style game that's got some story to it. Not that I love Diablo.
Isometric hack and slash.
Yeah, but the neat thing about it is it's got like all the characters they're their own sort of characters.
Mm-hmm.
So they play themselves. So kind of if you're thinking of the different classes or whatever, but they're different members of the family. So the different members of the family, then they all do different stuff. They all have different ways about them. But the neat thing is as you level up the different members of the family, they actually give bonuses to the other ones. But they're just really cool. First of all, it's this what do you call it? This pixel based game. So it's a pixel graphics and anyway that's really loud in my ears. Anyway,
continue, please.
It's pixel based, like it's a pixel graphics. But it's beautiful. Like the graphics are beautiful. Like it's like the old style, but it's like all hand drawn. It looks like all hand drawn. Yeah, sprites. There you go, pixel sprites. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Children of Morta. Anyway, it's a cool game, but it's not like hack and slash just like Diablo. It is kind of. There's just it's just a little bit different. It's very charming. There's like a lot of stuff.
More RPG or more adventure?
No, it's an ARPG. Yeah, there is.
Cool.
The music is beautiful. The graphics are pretty.
Yeah.
I really wish I had time to play it.
Well, I'm in the same boat, man. It seems like every time I turn around, I got something else going on. I was telling Scotty, it's like I maybe get to play an hour, maybe two,
Yeah.
a week, and I'm not playing for good reasons. I got like stuff going on at the house, and the homestead, family, and everything else.
Homestead. That's exactly right. That's nice. I'm excited about the homestead, man.
Busy. So when I do get to play, I'm firing up. Let's see, The Long Dark was one that I fired up recently. Half-Life Alyx, finally got around to that one.
What do you think?
No spoiler. Spoiler alert. I've just made it into quarantine, so I haven't gotten that far.
Okay.
Boneworks, another one that I fired up again recently, and see, it seems like I get to play a little bit, just like a little dose every week, and then I go back to.
It's hard to keep
doing stuff.
continuity with games like that because you're going to forget where you are, especially with a big game like Alex. Man,
I fired up Skyrim again recently and was like, okay, what quest was on now?
Whatever,
and
dude.
I was like,
you're all in this guy.
I was like, them blades still want me to. Spoiler alert for a 10-year-old game.
They've got a new mod.
Hang on. Those blades still want me to kill Parthenax. I'm not going to do it.
No, you don't have to.
I'm not going to do it.
I don't think you should.
It's messed up.
Well, and that's one of the things that makes the game never end. That's the beautiful part is the game's never going to end. So just keep doing it. There's a mod. So I know there's Skyrim with friends, right?
I got. You have to have special edition Skyrim to do that.
With what?
To do the Skyrim special edition is required to do the Skyrim Together or whatever it's called.
Do you have that one or no?
I went out and got it.
Oh.
It was on sale.
Let's do it. Well,
so I've got the original Skyrim. I've got Skyrim Special Edition, and I got Skyrim VR too. So I might have a problem.
It's a great game. They just came out with another mod that allows you. Did you ever play? Did you ever play Oblivion?
Yeah, Skyblivion. Right?
Skyblivion.
Is that what it's called?
That's right.
Yeah.
And then the
Oblivion,
Morrowind one, like I've never played yet. Like I'd like to play the Morrowind one.
Yeah.
That seems like fun. But again, time and all that. Jumping back though, you mentioned
Well, the whole thing was that things have changed. That's what I was getting at. Is the not just the way we procure the games, but the industry itself has changed a lot. I mean, I remember.
We're not going to beat on CD Projekt Red, are we?
We'll beat on whoever.
Okay.
You know what? 10 Cent. I saw an article today that 10 Cent was going to be purchasing EA potentially. Yeah, 10 Cent, the Chinese mega conglomeration of all free-to-play games.
No, I'm with you. My mind's just blown. Like EA.
They're talking about selling or buying out EA, and there was
Wow.
another developer they were talking about buying out too. The name escapes me. Maybe somebody can look it up and pull up the article or something. But
settle it.
get on the ball. Thinking about stuff like that, I mean, the practices that have led to this kind of stuff are things that are like rolling around in my trap. And you've got, back to traps, you've got...
it's a trap.
It's a trap. You've got, if you remember, back when we played, the types of it's just the HVAC system.
Sorry.
It's okay. The types of distribution methods and stuff were different, but the cool thing about that is that you could actually get demos of a game.
Oh, yeah?
Now everything is free to play, which is code for never going to be finished. And
No, early access.
Yeah, early access. Yeah.
Early access.
Same difference. And then back in our day, you remember you could get a demo of a game and play it as much as you wanted to, like the first 2 levels or something. And, man, I miss that because now it's like you're either going to commit to giving over a bunch of personal information to a company and downloading like 20 gigs of software onto your machine.
Which for somebody that lives in the boondocks like you, that's like 6 weeks.
Literally, I have to have the Pony Express rider come and bring me a thumb drive with this stuff on it. It's ridiculous.
Do you have to like line up your barn cats in like a certain configuration so they get the signal better coming through? Like, is that?
Yeah, I wrap them in aluminum foil.
Well, that keeps the aliens away too, for the most part. That's pretty awesome.
It does. Keeps the government from drilling into my brain, stealing my memories, and
So-
implanting dreams. And
So you touched on
Sorry.
as you touched on something, I was thinking like first of all like Commander Keen, like because I played the heck out of the Commander Keen demo for like ever because I was a kid, man. I didn't have any, I couldn't actually afford it. And then the other thing I was thinking like that's where that's one of my first jobs in college was at Best Buy, and I remember, did I ever tell you that story?
Yep.
Where
How you got pulled on there essentially by, hey lady, I don't work here.
Well, no, I didn't realize it, but at the time when I went in there, I was talking to the manager. And the funny part was I went in because we were playing this game. It was called, I can't remember. It was called Myth. I remember that the line was, it was so cold, the snot was freezing to his nostrils. Like, I remember that. Like, that was the line when my roommate and I, when we were going to go playing, it wasn't Myth. It was called, doggone it, I can't remember. I don't remember. I'll get there. But it was neat. It was a little RTS game that was a mix between like, this was back when it was like at a 3D landscape and there's 2D sprites that ran around. Anyway, pretty cool. But anyway, I remember going down there because I remember hearing that line in a demo, okay, and running down to Best Buy, which was like 20 miles away. We're living in Atlanta. And my roommate and I, and of course I'm in college, so I don't have proper sense. So I literally run out in my work boots I put socks on. My work boots, my boxer shorts. I had a white T-shirt on in my trench coat because it was cold outside. So I put the trench coat on.
Hot.
That was it. So I'm standing there. We're just running to Best Buy because it was like, I don't know, like 8 o'clock at night. Like, remember when Best Buy was a thing? This is back when they were actually trying to give you the best prices on stuff, you know, like before they had destroyed Circuit City and before they had destroyed Office. Anyway.
Big box monopoly, right?
Yeah. This was back when they were actually trying to get your business. Anyway.
Full transparency.
Where you walked in every time and then they forced a PSP down your throat.
Full transparency.
They were good back then.
We're both Best Buy alum.
That's right.
And Scotty is too, I believe.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. No,
and both of our wives.
And for what it's worth,
BBY425.
I love the company, man. Are you serious, dude?
Yeah.
That was awesome. I don't remember mine.
No, me neither.
That was pretty awesome. But no, it was a good time, especially in college. It was a great job in college. But I remember we ran in. And,
you truly are a sage amongst autists.
My roommate was with me, and we ran in and we're looking for this game, and I got frustrated. So you guys talk about autism. I got frustrated because the games they were not even close. Like, they weren't even close to being organized whatsoever. So we walk in, the media shelves, nothing was organized. And I walked in, I'm looking around, I'm like, gosh, I'm looking for this game. And I remember this really short, stumpy guy kind of comes walking up, and he starts talking to me. He said, what are you guys looking for? And I had no idea he was the manager. The guy's name was Stan, by the way. Absolutely fantastic dude. A really nice guy. And the fact...
In Florida?
No, this is Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
This is
Never
Atlanta.
mind.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
No. Let's not get excited. So we're standing there, we're looking for this game, and we're just back and forth walking through all the shelves and stuff because we can't find it.
Broke my immersion for a minute.
It turns out they had it. It was just like filed in some like office software equipment or whatever. So of course, you know me, I was kind of like, I was frustrated, and I was sitting there just had my arms crossed, and I was looking at the thing, and I was like, I would do this, and I would do this, and I would do this, and so finally he walked over and he's like, can I help you with anything? And I was just like, I finally just kind of bubbled over. I was like, look. I was like, this is not a strategy game. That's not a racing game. This needs to be over here, and this needs to be over here, and this needs to be
This is not a Britney Spears CD.
And I was like standing there, and I didn't know who the guy was from Adam. I didn't know who he was. And he started asking me, he says, so what do you know about games? Which, I mean, I totally spurged out on him, right? And I was like, brr, I told him everything. And of course, my roommate there, and he's kind of pitching in every now and again. And it was about a 20-minute conversation. He's like, he actually asked me, and I didn't realize this is an interview question, but he asked, so what would you do to make this different? And I told him, I'm like, this is what I would do. I was just autisting out, man. That's all I was doing. And he's like, you want to work here?
Truth.
He's like, you got a job? You want to work here? So I literally, that was one of the coolest interviews I had. Because I don't know. It was one of the most impromptu interviews, I guess I should say I had, because I'm standing there literally in boxer shorts. He actually asked me, he goes, do you own a pair of pants? I was boxer shorts
and a trench coat?
In a trench coat, yeah. And I was standing there because it was like 8:45 at night. The store should have been closed. I mean, it was closing in 15 minutes. We didn't run into anybody because nobody went out back in the 90s. Nobody went out in Atlanta after hours. It was smart. But anyway. Yeah, that was the whole story. That's how I started working at Best Buy. But it was neat. But again, that like the game, to your point, that's where we bought the game. The demo was fantastic. It was like one or two levels, and you got to see the style of the game before you did it.
Not gonna lie, right? So there were plenty of games that I bought the demo and cracked it. Maybe. I'm just saying, self-implication here. That's probably happened in my past at a couple points.
And by cracked, of course, you mean you dropped the disc and it broke on the ground, right?
Yeah.
That's what you meant.
I didn't download an
You're so
executable
You're
and
klutzy.
replace the exe file.
I don't even know what you're talking about. You're just making words up.
But there were several games that I played the demo and definitely dropped coined on.
Yeah.
So that was something that I miss. I miss that nowadays. Now, the thing was back then that was your finished product for the most part. I mean, you played the demo, you knew what the game was going to be.
Well,
now
you had to put out a finished product. You couldn't just do gold and then expect everybody's going to download a patch 2 months later.
Yeah.
Because you actually had to go through the whole development cycle and put stuff out there. It literally was, I need to stop touching stuff. It literally was the golden age of video games, or at least video game publishing at the time.
I'm Chris. I should talk with my hands.
I know, I need to stop. It was the golden age because they'd have to push something gold and they'd push it out there. Now, I totally feel for the developers now because you had this, and I love the indie revolution thing that's kind of going on right now, because we started talking about Supergiant games, right? So we started. I think I was telling you about Hades, and you're like, no, let me go back in the catalog, which I totally respect. So you went back to look to Bastion, and then Transistors next, and then Pyre, and
picked
then
up
Hades.
Bastion.
Bastion's fantastic.
Yeah,
I actually went back.
David's played it a little bit.
Dude, it's a great game.
Yeah.
And actually went back, but there's so much soul. There's so much. There's just so much emotion in it. Like, it's just awesome. You could tell somebody really loved it. But that kind of game, like there was a point in time when the Xbox 360 was coming out, and everybody's got super high res graphics and everything's in 1080p.
Is that a console or something?
And all of these big consoles are coming out with like every resolution graphic. You're talking to folks and they're like you're got a graphic this big to fit on a decal on a tank that you may or may not see, right? So all this work is going into all this stuff, and it's just overblown, and what got forgotten was the gameplay. Is this game actually fun?
Do we have pixel shaders? Do we have 8x anti-aliasing? And do we have?
Wasn't it Minecraft that broke all that?
Do you have a good game first of all?
Minecraft did. Minecraft shattered it, and that was the coolest thing. Is you came out, and people still to this day, like she was telling me, Chloe's telling me about Minecraft on the way over here. And Minecraft that's a dangerous one for me because I will sit there for hours in Minecraft and not doing anything. Right? You're just picking up blocks and you're moving them somewhere else. That's all you're doing.
Just playing Legos.
You're playing Legos, and that's the coolest thing is you get to create the whole world yourself, which for me is the most enticing part about it. People are like, "I don't get Minecraft," because you haven't played it yet. Go play Minecraft. You'll get it. You'll get it, right?
Yeah. It just takes. There's almost no learning curve. You're like, oh, I click this and it does this. I click this and it does this.
I don't know.
Here we go.
I don't know, man. The all the new like alchemy and the stuff that they
went kind of ham.
It went ham. It did, but they get it. Like she understands it. She's on.
Yeah, but I mean, like to basically play the game, start building stuff and surviving.
Punch a tree.
Zero learning curve.
That's right.
You're in it.
And the first night is the best night in Minecraft. Especially the first time you ever play, you're wandering around, you're doing your thing, everything's fine, and then the sun goes down.
You're like, oh, I gotta dig a hole real quick.
And then you start hearing, and it's
my favorite one is.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's the best one.
No.
And then you got to figure out really fast what to do, and especially if you hear that noise and you've only built yourself like a little dirt bunker, like stuff's going down fast. But it's a cool experience. And then you wake up the next day and you're looking around like, oh my gosh, I got to build a better base, and then you start building that better base.
You have died.
That's it. Yeah. There's no cuddling. There's no clouds. There's none of that nonsense. It's like, yeah, you're dead.
How many of
deal with it?
how many text-based RPGs have you played?
Oh my gosh. So
do you remember Dragon Court?
No.
Did you do Dragon Court at all?
Okay.
No.
Well,
okay. Sorry.
So all the text-based stuff I played was on BBSs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So the two
This was a Java-based game.
Okay. So listen, I was in college when Java came out, so I wasn't. I'm old. I remember our RA coming in going, "Hey man, cool guy too, by the way. Super. Kind of reminds me of the dude that we were just talking about in the cafeteria a little bit.
I never really did the BBS games,
but I know. Let me explain it to you. It's fun. But he goes, he comes in and he goes. I got this little book. It's about a new programming language. I'm learning C, but I don't know, man. I think it's going to go somewhere. What's it called? Java. And I was like, interesting. It was a little pamphlet. It was probably like 50 pages. It was a tiny little pamphlet.
Stupid name.
And he's like, I'm in, dude. Yeah, exactly. That was, oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, about that. So yeah, it was right around 1997 is when
That's Ryan Gosling's cousin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. He's a taller, more handsome version.
James Gosling was also one of the characters on Darkwing Duck, incidentally.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure he was
I may have made that last
at
one
the
up.
OK Corral as well. He's one of the on the dark.
So did he figure it out?
Well, yeah, he loved it, man. He thought it was cool, and you know what? I think when he finally left college, I think he was a Java programmer. He did some cool stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
in high school, awesome class. I did programming in high school, which was I think it was just the last year, senior year. They just started it because apparently you need computers to do that, and the high school really didn't have computers until really a couple of years prior to that. So anyway, it was cool. We had I think we had nice machines. I want to say there were 386s at the time. Anyway, so I was learning BASIC. And of course, we started out with BASIC, and then
My high
moved
school
on.
had 486 DXs.
And then we see you rich people in
Rich
in West
people
Virginia.
in West Virginia. It was subsidized heavily,
we
of course.
started learning BASIC, and then we went on to Pascal, which was a lot of fun because that one, Pascal, and anybody out there that's done Pascal, like you understand, you guys get it. But Pascal is very C. You can throw an argument, you can throw an integer, a variable, wherever you want to. It doesn't make a difference. You can call a function. And if I'm getting this wrong, let me know. But you can call a function from it feels like you can call a function from somebody else's computer, and it's going to run in your program. Pascal, if you didn't define it exactly, tell it exactly what it was going to do, the ins and the outs of it, it wasn't going to work. But it was beautiful because it was clean and it was nice. If you wanted to do something way down here, you had to plan for it up here. You got to put the little, Anyway.
I'm glazing over here.
I know. I'm sorry.
You're nerding out.
It was beautiful. It's a great language. But to the point was, we played an old game called Legend of the Red Dragon, Lord, and another game called Usurper. And so what you'd have to do in the BBS days was you'd have to dial in. If you had a good BBS and that guy had 4 or 8 modems, which is really cool. That means he had 4 or 8 lines in his house, right?
Yeah.
You could dial in and you could play live with other people. Otherwise, you'd have to dial in, you do your thing, take your turn, and then log out. Kind of like every Zynga game, right?
Yep.
Designed. But and then
kind of like any game at my house currently, because my connection's so bad.
Oh, that's right. Well, you got to line the cats up, man. Why don't you just stake them to the post or something? But so you would get, and what was neat about it was funny was like chat happened in it didn't happen in real time, right? So you'd go in and you leave a message, and then 6 hours later you'd get back in because they finally let you back in, and then you could check all the messages of somebody calling you a retard, So anyway, so Usurper, but those games were neat because they were anyway. To the point is, yes, I played text-based games, not like you probably played because it was really old and really different.
Look up Dragon Quest. See if you can find Dragon Quest. I doubt that it still exists.
But we actually designed and built for our senior project a text-based game, and it was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. It was a mix between Lord and Lord was fantastic, by the way. If you guys are interested and you guys want to do some really retro cool stuff, seriously, there's a way that you can run. There's a Linux BBS software that you can run, and then you can load some of those old games onto the Linux BBS, and we can actually play it. Legend of the Red Dragon was pretty cool though, but it was all super text-based.
That looks like a TV series or something.
No, Dragon Quest, that is a Nintendo series. That was one of my first RPGs I ever played on Nintendo.
No, I'm sorry, not Dragon Quest, Dragon Court. I think I said it right earlier when I said it, and I didn't say it right this time. Dragon Court, I'm sorry.
That sounds like something you would play.
Dude,
Did you used to dress up when you played it?
No, it was Java. Kind of. Me and a fella named James Woods, who, not James Woods, but James Woods, was, we were in Germany.
The current state of Dragon Court. This is on Reddit. Sorry, go ahead.
We were in Germany together on a deployment. So we were dressing up. So we're National Guard. We're just pretend folks, right?
Are you allowed to talk about this?
Yeah. We can't talk about Panama, but...
Well, you've never been to Panama. I've heard that story.
Clarification. Never been to Panama. But Germany, on the other hand, Tim Woods. Yeah, Tim Woods, not James. I'm thinking of the actor James Woods.
That's
a piece of
what you
candy.
literally said.
Ooh, a piece of candy.
He was in that really good show, Shark. I used to watch that show forever ago.
So me and Tim would play this game, and you got a set number of turns per day. Mm-hmm. And every encounter that you went through, you like collect gear and stuff. It was a really cool little simple.
That's got pictures on it. That's not a text-based game.
Yeah, it definitely was.
I'm talking like.
Yeah, it actually has some in
Look at
this
that. That's really cool.
iteration.
Yeah.
It did, but there were previous iterations that are pretty much that.
There you go. Okay.
But yeah, it was a really cool little game. I kind of miss it. I wish it would come back around, but
Like the Legend of Zork. Y'all ever play those games? Like that was.
I've heard of it. I haven't played it though.
Yeah, that was
That
a
was
true like
full text.
Yeah, that
almost
was like-
command line, right?
That was command line. It was
Yeah.
like look left. And
Yeah.
You have to like, what can I do? And then there's a lot of hidden commands. Look left, look right, move forward. Those games are wild.
There's a project somebody's working on right now that's an AI dungeon master that it essentially it's web based and it runs it like a command line. It's goofy as all get out. It doesn't understand half of what you say.
Does it rage out, flip the board over, and throw everybody out of their house? Because that's the. I'm just if it doesn't do that, it's not real enough.
Yes, definitely.
Get
It
out of my
does.
house! You're never coming back.
Who? Tracy, really?
Oh, your poor wife. She's so sweet.
Hello?
You are
Hey.
not doing that
Are-
right now.
Hey, I've got you on speakerphone, on microphone. What's up?
I'm so sorry. Can I apologize? I had to apologize.
I
to her
can't
for
hear
him
you.
all
Chris
the
is
time.
talking in my ear. Chris, be quiet.
Christmas.
What, Tracy? You're sorry? Is that what you said? I've lost you or something.
It's got to be. It's like as awkward when people pick up the phone in the car when you're driving.
All right, I'm hanging up.
Especially if it's
Love you,
somebody you
bye.
don't know, right? And you're driving along and they pick up a phone call and they start talking to somebody, like a coworker at lunch, right? Like somebody you've just met, and they start having this huge conversation for like a half an hour while you're driving in the car, and, and you don't know where you're going, and then finally at some point they look over and they said, "You guys, you know where you want to go yet?" And you're like, I think I'm done. Like, I'm not feeling very well. You need to take me back to the office. This is creepy. You know what I'm talking about? Like, has that ever happened to you?
All the time.
Yeah, see?
Well, I mean, the farther away you get from the office or the beaten path, the more nervous people get.
Especially when you start hitting those dirt roads.
And then you start telling
those
them
country
about
roads.
when you grew up in Florida and how we used to get rid of bodies by tossing them in the Everglades and stuff.
Lake Jessup.
What?
That was
Lake
the
Jessup?
One, that
That's
was
right.
One
Yeah.
by me. Lake Jessup, yeah.
I've heard that story before. That was a really long, awkward car ride, too. My first week there. No, not really. I'm just making that up. But back to, like, video game. Not just
You're the guy in the trunk.
yeah. Let me out.
Shut up. I'm trying to get some shut-eye.
The
You're
game,
driving.
the game culture itself is one thing, but, like, the corporate culture of the gaming industry is something else. So you're talking about the how these companies get to this day, like EA. Who would ever thought EA would be
And they started
picked
out
up by somebody?
They started out pretty good. Like EA started
Yeah.
out really good. They made some good stuff.
We rabbit trail pretty hard on the text-based stuff, but for what it's worth, there's a little bit of like history into our PC gaming pedigree here, right?
Pedigree, that's one way to put
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
We got some.
Yeah.
We got some of that.
So yeah, so what you've got here.
Did you find that article about who it was that Tencent was buying? It
Jeremy.
was look at EA. It was EA and somebody else. Now the other one like still shocked me too. I can't remember who it was, but it was like, man, Take-Two. Yeah, Take-Two.
Take-Two Interactive?
Yeah, I was like,
Oh.
I would not have expected either of those two to be in that situation.
Wow.
But I mean, the games industry right now, with the current state of the plague, should be doing pretty good, right?
Did their CEOs also go missing in China?
Probably.
That's probably what happened. Yeah, that's interesting. Tencent's got a lot of money, dude.
Well, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, it is. But no,
I
I
was
was
like,
thinking,
do we really want to scratch that?
so you've got this difference between like an EA, which
Mhm.
is like what EA is now, and what EA used to be, and
Yeah.
like a smaller place like a Supergiant, which I imagine they've grown a little bit, right? But like
And-
Dead Mage.
Well, you mentioned CD Projekt Red too. I mean, they went
Mhm.
from that state to what they're at now.
Yeah,
Who was the Naughty Dog's another one that has
Mhm.
gone through phases,
that's right.
for better or worse, and you see these kind of developments.
Come on, Blizzard. Blizzard is one of the
Another
that's one of
Yep.
the most tragic stories of what could ever happen to a gaming company.
And it seems like they get big, they lose their soul
Yeah.
almost, right?
Yeah.
and then I almost feel like the industry as a whole has gone down this path, and it's as soon as they start to get a little bit of outside investors in that weren't with the company from its inception, the first couple games products they released, they all start to take this same tact where quarterly earnings top everything, big release dates around E3 and stuff like that.
And that's what CD Projekt Red has come out and said that's what happened was that they've got the board. They've even said this. They've said the board came in. They said you're going to do this, this, and this. Like one of the conversations online is like we weren't even thinking about why am I calling him Johnny Depp? Not Johnny Depp. Keanu Reeves. They weren't even thinking about having Keanu Reeves in the game until 2019. Like so, when one of the developers got on Reddit and this is all whatever you say. What's it called?
Could you imagine Johnny Depp playing John Wick?
Poor guy. No, but anyway, I think Johnny Depp is. Oh, stop it! He's awesome. That's Christopher Walken.
That's my Jack Sparrow.
But he
Why is the rum gone?
But like they almost retconned him into the game. And this is all speculation because there've been some posts and stuff online where some of the developers have come out and they've said, hey, you know what? We have this really cool story. We had a bunch more of the game. I was telling Scotty this the other day. One of the devs came out.
I haven't played this yet.
I'm not spoiling it.
I'm okay with you spoiling it because by the time I get around to it,
it's going to be
spoiled.
It's going to be Skyrim.
Yeah,
it's going to be the same age as Skyrim when you finally played it. But maybe they'll have patched the game back into the game. And don't get me wrong, Cyberpunk is a fantastic game. I'm a PC gamer, so sorry for being on consoles because I heard that was.
I've heard a lot of interesting.
Total nightmare. I'm so sorry about that.
I've heard a lot of interesting things about that,
dude. It's great. It's great. Definitely not for children. There's a lot of adult situation and themes and stuff into it.
That's another thing. I mean, I get it. Like you've got the entire game set up, and it goes back to like the old 90s and 2000s game censorship stuff, right? You said it's not for children, right?
Right.
There are some games that could easily be have a larger audience if they Unreal Tournament. This is one of the ones that I remember that had a checkbox in the settings that allowed you to turn off mature taunts. You could check that box,
right.
and they wouldn't swear and stuff like that.
Right.
And even some of the gestures, the taunt gestures, were disabled because of that.
But think about that for just a second.
Uh-huh.
Think about that for a second. So what's the core gameplay loop in Unreal Tournament?
Murder.
So you're like if you check this box and you're like, you can't taunt somebody, but you can definitely blow their head off and you can saw their leg from their body, and the entire point of the game is to rip through person after person after person.
Listen, I know plenty of people, myself included, who are perfectly fine exposing your children to violent games, but don't want them going out in public repeating things that they hear in a video game.
Well, where's the line? That's what I'm saying. Like, where's the line? It's like
I don't know.
Why are we cool with?
Again, I don't know if we want to go down that path
with kids murdering everybody.
Yeah,
or learning to murder folks. Like why is that I guess that's my question. Why is that not mature? I'm not saying it should be, right?
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
But it should. Like what's the game that Chloe? What's the game that you and your sister play?
Yandere Simulator.
Yandere Simulator. Oh my goodness gracious.
That's one of her favorite games.
So. And she's. I mean, we all know.
How does that compare to Mortal Kombat?
Okay, so the whole that's a good point because Mortal Kombat was in arcades. Like,
and I remember it got so much flack.
It was
for
in
the
politics.
Dude, for what it's worth, I personally am okay with the violence.
I know you are.
But all the other stuff, the other topics and things like that would get something from a solid PG-13 up to an R or nowadays PG-13 stuff is like
yeah that line is definitely
that it's disappeared. But it's almost like the game developers have like taken on the tact of, because there's some games where for narrative reasons the stuff needs to stay in there to maintain the story.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's other games where you're like, does that really need to be in there? And it's almost like just like the movie industry and the TV film industry, that they're like, if we don't have a certain number of this in there.
Listen, if Geralt's not sitting around,
let me finish.
If he's not sitting around shirtless in the tub, okay, I don't know if I'm paying attention much. I'm just saying, that's what draws me in.
Tub Geralt.
Tub Geralt. if they don't include enough of that stuff, they can't get a specific rating, and they don't feel like people are going to buy it unless it has that rating. And I think it's another thing that the industry has gone through with its size, where, like I said, there's plenty of games that they could put a checkbox in there and expand their audience, but they feel like if they did that, then they wouldn't be able to reach as many of their core demographic based on these focus groups.
And I would posit that it might be because of the system that these people started doing that, because of the over censoring of stuff where they said, you do this and then you get this, you do this and then you get this. I think really my whole point was like, why is violence okay? And then that gets you one rating, and then maybe a curse word gets you a different rating. And I think what happened is they're like, well,
it almost created, instead of a rating system, it created is this thing going to be any good or not?
Well, and there's a point where you look at it and you're like there's almost like
a
little
ranking
buckets.
System instead of a rating system.
It is, and as you put the little new things in the buckets, where you're going from E on up, right? You putting stuff in the buckets where they're like, okay, you know what? If you say 5 swear words in 30 seconds, then you're going to get an M, and it's like, well, okay, well if I'm going to get an M anyway, I might as well put all these other things in that people want to do to begin with. Like I remember my aunt, and I was very, very clear with her. This is a long time ago when Grand Theft Auto first came out. I hadn't played the game yet. I'd never played the game yet. My cousins had a PlayStation or whatever they had. Maybe it was an Xbox. And she comes to me. My cousin was, how old was he? Probably 8. And my aunt comes to me and she says, hey, we're talking or whatever. And I was like, hey, what kind of games do the guys have? My cousins have. I wasn't going to rat them out. They might have been younger, because there's no way, because there's a 10-year. I was 10 different. Okay, anyway. So he comes over and he's like, yeah, well, they've got this sports games, of course, like they've got football and stuff like that. Because my cousins love sports. And then
good old sports ball.
And she goes, and the youngest one, she goes, yeah, and he got this really cool racing game. And I was like, oh yeah, what is it? Because I was into like Gran Turismo and stuff at the time. And she goes, Grand Theft Auto. And I was like, actually GTA is what he called it, GTA. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's neat. So I just I paused for a second, and I walked over and I went to my cousins. I said, boys, come here for a second. So I walked in the room and I said, what'd you tell your mom about that game? And he's like, oh yeah. He starts laughing. Like the one got really nervous. The other one goes, I told him not to do it. And I said, what kind of game did you tell your mom that? And he's like, oh, it's a racing game. And I said, yeah, it kind of is. He starts selling me on it, right? Well, then he proceeds to teach me how to make extra money in the game. And I was like, I looked at him. I was like, look, dude.
Dang sausage sniper over here.
I was like, I ain't gonna, because you're on the tray. That's what you're doing. So I was like, I'm not gonna tell your mom what you're doing. I say, but for real. But again, that turned into one of those things where no, thanks, I'm good. That turned into one of those things where it was like, it almost became a joke, because M for mature, like nobody ever looked at it. She said, why is it M? Oh, he told me it was M because it was a little bit violent. Okay, well if it's violent, then I don't. I guess you know me. What's the difference, right? If it's mature, I don't care. Whatever. I think the rankings. If you should know the game before you let your kids play it. That's what I would say.
Absolutely.
Back to Yandere Simulator. I can't really say anything about it because like literally the game is about murdering. Yandere Simulator. It's about making sure your senpai notices you. Don't do that. And making sure your senpai notices you. In literally like killing all of the other the what's it called?
Rivals.
The rivals. There you go. Yeah. Don't do that, dude. That drives some people nuts like me. I can't do it. I'm gonna unplug your. I'm gonna unplug it.
ASMR.
It's not that.
Also, one of the main features in the game is how you earn points to help you out. You have to take pictures of underskirts.
Oh, see, I didn't know this. I had no idea. I thought Senpai was a boy. Is this not a girl game?
Long story short, keep your kids away from anime.
just keep your kids off the computer at all.
No one is safe in Yandere Simulator.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I had no idea. All right, well, we're gonna have to talk about it. But again, like it's funny because I question you on that. I question you on the violence, right? The point of the game, though, is to murder and get away with it.
You have to murder 10 girls who are getting in the way of you and your senpai getting married.
That's it. That's the game. And I'm like,
Seems healthy.
and I watched it for a while, and I was like, oh, I mean, there's no inappropriate content here. You're just murdering people, so it's probably fine.
I love the tagline. Senpai will be mine. He doesn't have a choice because I killed all the other choices.
That's right. That's right.
There's also kidnapping. You can kidnap your rivals and break them and turn them into mind slaves.
Yeah, see, I'm a wonderful father.
Father of the year,
I tell you,
ladies and gentlemen.
But it was like when I can't even tell you this because she was
My
like
boy Chris.
How the game? You guys have been playing the game for like what? Like 2 years, right?
Like a year and a half, maybe.
Okay. So so she was probably 7 the first time she played it, but she was so proud the first time.
So tell me more about how she is sometimes.
No. She was so proud. She was so proud the first time she murdered somebody and got away scot-free. Like, you could tell the pride in her face because she had murdered someone in the middle of the school and she got away with it. And I was like, oh, honey, like, that's fantastic.
I'm so proud of you.
I mean, it's, you gotta take every, I don't know, achievement and just,
It's the little things.
It is. It would made her happy. So you know what? I don't think I've got a leg to stand on in this conversation. I think I'm gonna go ahead and bow out.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much that's it.
All I was getting at is that the industry has changed a lot of things,
Right.
and I think that some of their, regardless of how you feel about murder,
Yeah.
or whatever it happens to be,
Murder's bad, kids.
I think that some of
Okay.
the motivations by the gaming industry were not driven by what their customers actually want, what they think morally is acceptable or reprehensible, et cetera, et cetera. I think a lot of it is driven by, like you said, turning the rating system into a ranking system.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, how many games have we seen where the advertisement is,
Oh, it's all
play this new game in September. We're going to blow up hell wide open, and we're going to have all kinds of debauchery. And you're like,
Well, he mentioned it with Mortal Kombat, like the whole thing. And again, whatever. I wasn't.
Mortal Kombat
I was
started to
terrible
go down
at
that
Mortal
path
Kombat.
after like the third. They went a crazy extreme. And the first couple was just like, this is just what the game is, and then it was like, how can we push the envelope?
Fatalities, babalities, like they did, and it was like, what is the next outrageous thing that they're going to do inside the game? What's the next outrageous thing your people going to do? And again, I'm not against it, whatever. But they've been very successful, and they're still successful. Where I think you're going though is, and this
I think
is
Tencent bought them too.
this is what yoo-hoo. This is where I think what I got interested was when you saw that Minecraft split, right? When Notch did his thing, and you got this Minecraft split, then it opened up the door for a lot of these smaller. I can't
Indie
believe
developers.
subset games. Like I haven't mentioned subset games yet. So you got this little indie developer. Like think of Faster Than Light, like that game and Breach. Those games are amazing, right? And those guys, they come out and they said, you know what? I think there's only a couple of them, and they're like, you know what? We're gonna work on the game. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. It's gonna release when it releases. We're not gonna do a lot of DLCs and none of that stuff like they didn't.
Like Star Citizen, right?
I think they did like one. I think they went to advanced.
Well, you went right
FTL
past
or
that.
whatever. I don't want to talk about Star Citizen. That is just. I mean, that October. 10th,
Then maybe that's
2010.
exactly what we should talk
10
about.
10 10, right? You remember 10 10 10. I've got the little ticket that's sitting there, right? No,
You got a golden ticket.
I've got the golden ticket.
You got a
but-
golden ticket.
But listen,
You can go visit that place whenever you want. Think about that.
no, not until they'll shut the servers off. That's the problem. You know, the nice thing about subset games is, guess what? I've got an executable on my hard drive. That's the other thing too. Think about that for a second.
Now everything has to be on the internet. Everything.
I played this one game on Star Wars game on iOS. It was actually
Mhm.
pretty cool. I can't remember it, but it was kind of like a tower defense game. And you had your guys on one side, guys on the other side. You collected these cards and you made it whatever. But then you would
Galaxies, right?
No. Yeah,
That was a different one.
It's a different one. That's an EA.
Galaxy was you all were addicted to that
I
hard.
played that game for 5 years. That was
Yeah.
It was a mindless grind fest. That's all that game
Mindless
was.
grind.
I think they've gotten better.
Get them
but still.
dailies done.
But my point is there's this other game that I played for a long time, and I put a lot of time and effort into it. It was a free to play game. I don't think I ever put any money into it. I may have put $5 in there to support the game.
How much money did you put into Galaxies? Do you want to talk about it?
$4.99. Because dead serious, because I bought the Ewok pack, because it was for World. No,
Did I just hear a gasp?
I was gonna say World Wrestling Federation, but it was Wild World of Fish. No, what is it? World. Who took the WWF? Who's that?
World Wildlife Fund?
There you go. Those people, the ones that took the WWF away from the WWF, whatever. But they did a thing. Do you not remember that? They sued the WWF because they're like, oh, people are going to get confused between the World Wildlife Fund and wrestling. It's like, no, you're not. You're not going to do that. So they went into this whole thing and they were going to sue Vince McMahon.
I wrestle wildlife.
And Vince was like, you know what? Forget it. We're going to be WWE now. And that's why it's WWE. Yeah, see? WWF to wildlife. It was so frustrating. You know what? Whatever. The World Wildlife Fund and the WWF were around for a long time, and no one ever confused them. Not once. Like, there's no... And that's the whole thing with the copyright, the lawsuits and stuff, right?
Oh, man. Talk about another topic.
But that's the thing is like the reason you have copyright lawsuits is if you're selling something so you're trying to trick somebody else into thinking that it's a different product than what you are. Nobody's going to confuse the two of them. They didn't need to go do that. But good enough and whatever you think of Vince and all that kind of stuff, he made a lot of successful folks. And anyway, so he just walked away from it and did the WWE. So that's pretty interesting. Where's I going with that?
Donald Trump was in the ring.
Oh, Stone Cold gave him a stunner. That was so awesome.
Yeah.
I still watch that. That's beautiful. Hey, I don't care. Whatever side you're on, that was pretty good, man. That was good stuff. Donald Trump got the Stone Cold stunner.
In 1995. I can't remember the meme. Something about Hell in a Cell and throwing somebody off the cage.
That was Undertaker and Mankind. Absolutely. No, dude, I watched that live.
I wanted to be able to rattle that off so good.
No, that was beautiful.
I love going through a forum or a post somewhere, and all of a sudden that being what somebody alludes to, they start telling a story, and then it's like, and in 1995.
Well, I remember that. I remember Bret Hart too, by the way. We were watching that live. But really? I remember when
that's pretty
I
intense.
remember the Undertaker's face. You can go back and look at it. The Undertaker's face when he threw Mankind off the cell or off the top of the cage, he looked nervous, dude. Because you got to think about it, like he just threw one of his friends like 30 feet off onto a
Those guys weren't friends. I saw how they talked to each other before that
table.
Show.
Yeah, look at this mess.
Oh, here we go.
No, these guys were great. And this was for me, listen, John Cena and the guys now and stuff were amazing. This is the wrestling I grew up with, really. My dad and I with the Bushwhackers and Timmy Tugboat, those guys. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Bushwhackers are fantastic. I can't remember what were those guys
I'm far too sophisticated to take part in any of this.
The Rockers. Those are my guys. I like the Rockers too. What was it?
Who was it? Was the guys that wore the shoulder pads with the spikes, like
that? I was trying to think.
Nation. What are they?
It was like Axe and Diesel
Animal or something.
And there you go. I love those guys too. Those guys are great. These guys are all great. And you know what? Whatever you say about wrestling, we've got a friend that was a pro wrestler for a long time. And whatever you say about it, look at him. Like, he's worried right there. He's looking down. Like, he's acting. He's got the Undertaker face going on. But that guy was really worried, man. And he actually did a conversation with, doggone it. It might have been Stone Cold not too long ago, where they're actually talking about this. And so 20 years later or whatever, and the Undertaker and Stone Cold are talking about this and walking through it. You can see the haunted look in his eyes. He's like, dude, I was scared because I just threw Mick Foley off the top of this thing, and he's like, because they're people, they're both people. And I remember like watching live, and like we were with roommates and stuff, and we're all staring at it, and everybody just got dead quiet. Like, did that just happen? Kind of.
Well, I've told you this before, and I've got to meet some of these cats in person, right?
You have to, or you have?
No, I've gotten to.
Oh yeah, because of the
because they came over like part of a USO tour while we were overseas.
So cool, man.
And we got to where I worked doing logistics. We unloaded the plane and got all of their stuff set up for them to. They were doing like this Christmas thing.
Not load the train, unload the plane.
Load the train.
Yeah.
In Afghanistan, and they set up their ring out there, and they did a whole show. Had Foley, Big Show.
Oh my gosh, that
Ric Flair was there.
Woo. He was in a totally different thing though. Ric Flair was like the other side.
They had some of the divas out there too.
So cool.
Of course, all the guys were going stupid about that, but
he was a visionary. Think about that. Vince McMahon was a visionary.
Absolutely.
That they're not managers. They're actually in there. They're actually in their wrestling and stuff. It was awesome.
It was interesting though. We were over. They had a little USO building. It was the Pat Tillman USO building at Bagram Air Base, and some of the wrestlers were in there. I can't remember who all it was. I think it was Mick Foley and maybe the Big Show. And me and some of my buddies went over there to go talk to him, and some wanted autograph signs and everything. And we noticed that Foley or the Big Show, one of the two, was constantly carrying around a Red Bull. Like every time we saw him, when he got off the plane, he had a Red Bull in his hand. Every time we saw him when he wasn't in the ring, he had a Red Bull in his hand. At the USO, he had a Red Bull in his hand, and it was constant. And we asked what was up with the Red Bull, and he says, well, I'm pretty messed up in my body, and I pretty much I take the.
That's Mick Foley. That sounds like Mick Foley.
I take the Vicodin to get rid of the pain, and I take the Red Bull so I can stay awake.
Oh my gosh, dude!
And it hit. You're like, wrestling is fake, right? But
no, the hits, the bumps are real, dude.
The stuff that those guys put themselves through. I mean, they are the epitome of a character actor.
Yeah.
That puts themselves through so much to pull that stuff off. And it seems like when you watch it and you're not interested in it, it seems so trivial, but to the fans and to the guys that are doing it,
it's a big deal, man.
Oof,
it's tough.
It's literally life and death. You talked about Kevin Hart, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the first time something like that's happened.
No, we watched that live.
And those guys get hurt, not let alone killed. They get hurt plenty.
Especially if somebody's not on their game or somebody's not paying attention.
We're talking about video games, right?
Somebody's not giving it the proper attitude and stuff. Like you got to go into it and you got to know what you're doing, but you got to be serious. And there's this, it's cool. Like you listen to Bruce talk about it, and there's like this rapport, this back and forth of everybody's talking and stuff. And you go out on YouTube, like there's a lot of guys that will teach you how to do it on YouTube.
He was talking about how like whenever they would have somebody in a like a chicken wing arm lock, that they would like squeeze their thumb a certain way or something like that. There's like
there's
a whole
unspoken like code,
almost like thieves can't.
I was just gonna say thieves can't. You're such a nerd.
D&D. There's a whole like secret language of gestures, and sometimes it's completely spoken stuff, but sometimes it's just like a glance or a facial expression or a certain way that they'll tap, touch, squeeze, something like that while they're locked up with somebody to let them know this is what I'm going to do next.
Yeah.
Or, hey, do this real quick.
And they're athletes. They are athletes because the stuff that they can do, and like he can still do a standing backflip like that. I don't care. That's amazing.
Bruce is a freak of nature.
But other than that, it's like it's an art as well. Like it's a performance art, and there's so much to it. And the fact that millions of people watch a bunch of grown men running around in these like little tight underwears, right? And yelling at each other.
Epic.
Like they're not going to kill each other. We know this. And they're yelling about the same things every week, and it's a little bit different. Like it's fantastic. And then you got like the old guys like the King, right? Like there's bodies lying everywhere. It's total carnage.
He's
like,
a dog. He's worthless. And I'm going to face him down.
Yeah. It's like
WrestleMania 45. Woo!
I love it, dude. It's great stuff, man. It's fantastic. And as a kid, man, I enjoyed it. By the way, 2.636 million viewers watched in 2016. That's amazing. The Rockers was Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. That it's been clicking in my brain until I remember that. I love those guys.
Legion of Doom. That was the other guy.
There you go. Yep.
The Legion of Doom. That was Animal and
I don't remember. They all had the cool face paint on because it was like the Kiss style face paint or whatever. But they were killer.
Warrior
and they had the big. Oh, Ultimate Warrior was one of the best.
Sting.
Well, he was in the other one, but yeah, they're all.
I like.
There you go, right there, Legion of Doom.
I'll probably get some haters for this, but I always like the pre-Crow Sting, back whenever he like had like the neon colors and I was more like akin to like the Ultimate Warrior almost. It
was the '90s, man, when everybody was wearing trench coats. Like that was it. That's what you had to do it, man.
Brandon Lee.
But that's what I loved about the Rockers, man, is they would
Hawk and Animal. That's it.
Well, there's one more. Or I'm thinking of Axel. There's another one that I was thinking about too. But those guys were fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was thinking like the Rockers, and you think, God, they were 6'1" and 6'2", really? They look so much bigger on TV.
That's some big old boys.
277 though. If that's real, that's a big boy.
I mean, to you, that's pretty tall.
That's like at least a full 3 feet taller than I am. Easily. What's cool about the Rockers is those were some of the first guys that were like flying super high constantly. Like Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, they'd get up there.
Still in that stuff from the Lucha Libres.
Yep, and they had those like you said, like neon. It was like all this neon, and it had those like
tassels
streamers
everywhere.
It was awesome, dude. I loved it. So
okay. Huh. We got to get back on this. Get back on this video game stuff. We were talking about CD Projekt Red.
Well, so the difference, right, is you've got this difference between these giant corpo sort of mega corporations, like what happened to Activision Blizzard. Like you take Blizzard and you look at Warcraft, you look at Diablo, amazing games, right? And then you've got this watered down of whatever the heck that they're gonna release on the mobile, which I don't think anybody. I don't know. Whatever. I don't think. And you know what? I'm sorry for the developers. They have got.
I'm just waiting to hear that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be a mobile game.
You know they're coming out with like a space game before Elder Scrolls, right? Like
Really?
Bethesda's got a space game coming out. It's called. Oh, I was going to say space docking. It's not that. It's something different. I'm sorry. That's where my brain went. Look it up. The Elder Scrolls. They've got it.
We're going to lose all of our loyal listeners, Chris.
No, Kelly's still here. They've got. She's like, no, not for long. That's what she just said.
You're going to have to say
no,
at
they've
least
got
5 Hail Marys, or they're not going to forgive
Starfield.
you.
That's it. So they're releasing that before they even get around to releasing the Elder Scrolls. The only reason they're talking about Elder Scrolls is because of Fallout 76 was such an abomination.
What was the one MechWarrior Online was going to do? It was like they were seeing all of the hype with Star Citizens. Transverse.
That's what it was.
And they were like, man, Star Citizen's getting a bunch of this money, and we're poor schmucks over here who can't figure out how to make a decent game. So
they tried to kickstart it. What'd they get? It was like $316 or something.
It was like community warfare. They tried to raid the community warfare coffer from MWO. And
do you want Transverse or you want community warfare? Community warfare.
Yeah,
please.
Seriously.
Thank you.
Anyhow,
that game is still so pretty though. Brian McQuaid, that was the guy that was the.
I wonder how Paul's doing. I still see him on Steam every once in a while. Good old Paul in the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's well, have you looked at their perk system recently? It's a giant mess. Go and watch what's the German guy that you got me watching? What's his name?
Bardel?
Yeah, watch Bardel for a second because he'll go through and he'll build the mech, right? He'll build the mech and
then
he'll go through.
Spend 20 minutes in the quirk system.
Dude, and it's like
my
you literally listen, I'm sorry. If you have to scroll more than 3 or 4 times, you know what? If you have to scroll at all to get through your quirk system, think of Skyrim for 1 second. You look up at the sky, and then there's your quirks right in the constellation. Like it's right there. It's so simple.
I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. The perk system in Skyrim still baffles me.
Dude, you just well,
all I know is
NWO
stealth.
is even worse.
All I know is stealth and archery.
That's it.
As long as I do that, I'm good.
That's every game you play though. Every single game.
Yeah, Zombicide.
That's it. Like Zombicide. I was thinking you could play like Plants vs Zombie in your stealth and archery somehow.
So riddle me this: is there a way to make a stealth archer in Cyberpunk?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no bows, but yes, with a gun. It's pretty much the same thing.
CD Projekt Red. Bows or I riot. I mean protest. Bows or I protest.
You're going to jail. They've got your picture. Done. You're done. You got to take off that MAGA hat and just
domestic
I'm gonna
terrorism.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna put my fur and my horns on.
Dude, that was so
paint.
Ridiculous.
Good grief!
I loved it. I loved
a bag of chaos. I
the
like
pageantry was if nobody got hurt. The
I
pageantry
never turn on Fox News. I don't watch any news for the most part.
Why bother?
But
it's so frustrating.
I happen to have the Fox News app on my Roku for my in-laws. So as soon as that stuff started popping off, I'm like, Tracy. I fired it up. Probably watched that for like a solid hour before I realized I had other more important things to do with my life.
I can't do it, man. Any of the news, because the news is always going on at work. I don't want to hear about it. Anyway, so you got the big companies and you got the little companies.
I'm really sorry.
Like Subset Games, right? Like, and they make what they want to make, and that's the thing is you get to see the vision. You might not like it. Who makes Kingdom? Two Crowns. Like that. That's
the
another
vision.
one.
The vision is the important part. That's what I mean. Like you said earlier, you can tell when somebody loves the product they're making.
That's right.
And you can tell when they don't.
Did you play Diablo 3 when it first came out?
You can tell when it's a
Auction
cash
house?
grab.
I knew where you were going. Auction house? Did you mess with that? So
that was the real world money auction house they were about to do, wasn't it?
No, they did it. They pushed it live.
That's right.
For digital items.
So what would happen is
they got a percentage.
Artificially lowered the rate of the legendary weapons dropping, so that if somebody got it, they could post it on the real world auction house for in-game, actually for real money. For real money, the person that you bought it from would get a little bit of that, and then the corporation, would get the next.
I thought
that's when I knew they totally jumped the shark. They were done.
Unless I mistook, I thought the person buying it paid real money. The person in game only got in game currency.
Oh, right.
Was that right?
Yeah, I think that's right. That makes more sense. Unlike Second Life, which is that's a whole different story. But that's when That right there was when you knew they jumped the shark. When they came out with World of Warcraft, which is absolutely fantastic. It is the drug to end all drugs. They came out with that, and then you knew, because they had the auction house in there, and they lost their way. And they did this Diablo, and you could tell they lost their way. You could tell there's a bunch of fat cats sitting there holding on to their bags of money, going, "I need more.
What do I do now?
Give me more." And they
How
put this
do I
auction house in.
satisfy the investors?
So that's what you don't get with an indie game, right? Because these people are, I don't know, and again, like, you're hoping that these small indie developers never, blow up and make it different, like a CD Projekt Red.
It's
like
a
what they did.
catch-22, right? Because you're like, man, I really hope they're successful because I love this product, and then you're like, but when they do,
They got too successful, right?
Disney's gonna buy them.
And there's that allure of money, right? Like, so I was watching the GameStop stock today, right? So I was telling you guys about that, and
That's a good troll.
that
Have you checked it recently?
Well, not recently. We got to pull it up. Sorry, he's all over the place. I feel bad for him. But just to set that up was like
GIS, is that what it is?
GME.
GME.
Yeah, GME, and this is all anyway. I'm curious. It is, yeah, it's still doing pretty good though.
Yeah.
But it's up $10. But it went up to 140-ish. And I saw somebody post today that they bought at 155. And of course, when you go right back to what you said earlier about WSB, right? That all of a sudden it's like, haha, I can't believe you did that. It's like, no, you guys have been egging these people on this entire time.
I'm about to explode again.
Like,
My
I can't.
bladder is so full.
Okay, good. You go do that, and I can actually get through the one point that I was trying to make like 6 minutes ago.
But I love you.
I was just whining about Blizzard. But you remember that? You remember that when they did that? What were you gonna say? Sorry.
The real world auction. There's a lot of people who had lined up to make a lot of money from that.
Right.
Only to have have Blizzard say they took that down and apologized.
And it was, I feel like it was better for the actual game that they did that, because I mean, literally, so the entire point of Diablo, I'm sorry, like there's a story there, right? You play through the story one time and then you're done. Like, the next bit is you're going through the seasons and you're leveling up and you're going through the journeys and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's what they did. They made it very replayable, but you're never going to play, just come around, hon. You're never going to play through the whole, I've done it before because I like the story, but you're not going to play through the story a million times, right? So they're like, okay, how do we make money on this game? And for what it's worth, they still haven't figured it out, which is why we don't have a Diablo 4 yet. Blizzard. But anyway, but the auction house, yeah, I mean, like, think about it. Like the whole point of Diablo is loot. That's it. Like, that's the whole game. That's the whole part of the game. Your character never changes. You get new abilities. Let's be honest, you probably never use them, right? You get the one or two that you like, and then the rest of them is just cake. It's just extra chaff or whatever.
Turn on the auto clicker so you don't have to wear out the mouse button.
I know, dude. And then the whole thing is every time you kill a boss monster, like all the trash and stuff before the boss monster, nobody cares about that. You get to the boss monster, he drops some loot, and you're like, what was that, you know? They artificially lowered the amount of cool items that you would get to artificially increase what they would make by selling those items on the auction house. And that's when you knew it was like, that was when you went, oh, Blizzard, you've lost your soul. And it's been downhill ever since. They've done some good stuff. Like the developers came out with Hearthstone, and that was like people just making that like on their own, as far as what I understand. I was motioning to Kelly because I know she plays. You had Hearthstone, which is actually pretty awesome, right? And then you've got, did she make you another one? Oh, she's so sweet. And then, anyway, but that's, and so again, so the point that he was making, right, was you've got this, you want people to have success, but there's always that danger that if they have too much success, then you're going to lose the thing that made you what you were before. But there's always the old saying is, what got you here won't get you to the next level. You got to wonder, though, am I happy at this level? Like, is this enough?
You have a phone, don't you?
You've also got got the wooden shoes and silk slippers too, right?
That's right. But that's what I was getting at, and that's why you're talking about it. That's why what bothered so many people about CD Projekt Red. And for what it's worth,
it's like they forgot where they came from.
Yeah. And to what it's worth, listen, they have made some amazing games. They made Witcher 3, right? The other games I'm not so sure about. Like Witcher 1 was in. Listen. So first of all, if you've never read have you ever read the Witcher books? Absolutely fantastic. They're absolutely fantastic.
We already covered I'm from West Virginia.
They can't read, that's right. They did that guy They got a really good deal on his IP for what it's worth, but they did the stories justice. Like they did the stories justice, especially when you look at like when you watch the Netflix series on The Witcher. Those are all ripped. Those are straight from the books. So I can't even say the books are better, but it's all there. And it's this. The Witcher is all about this. It's a Polish. What do you call it? Not lore. It's a Polish. No,
it's a hero.
Folklore. Folklore is what it
No,
is.
oh good grief!
No,
No,
it's all
it's
about-
not just that. It's a what do they call it? Like the Odyssey and the Iliad. What are those?
Epic.
Epic. It's
Yeah.
a Polish epic.
It is. It really
Yeah.
is.
It
And
follows the entire hero's journey kind of format.
Right, it does. But I'm like all of the what I find super neat about it is like all the different creatures and monsters and stuff you run into. It's like it's based on, I don't know, maybe it's based on Polish lore. I have no idea. It might not be. I'm just talking.
There's a
right
lot
now.
of just that European lore from way back, all the different types of monsters and stuff.
And it's got a little bit of a twist,
Yeah.
like the Striga. The first time they explain the Striga and where the Striga comes from and stuff. No
Mhm.
spoilers, but it's kind of creepy. And
Yeah.
it's like you take Graham's fairy tales or the other ones, Mother Goose, and he gives them just a little bit of a twist, and you're like, I can totally see.
Grimms typically don't even need a twist.
Well,
Good grief.
I can totally see in the world that we live in how that could happen because that is so flippin' messed up. Like it makes sense. Everything's very organic. Not everything, but most of the stuff was really organic. Anyway, so not to beat on CD Projekt Red because they came out with some Streak pretty creepy stuff, and they do that in there's a whole story about the Striga, and there's a whole story in the Witcher TV show that talks about it.
Yeah.
But in the books, when he's explaining what the Striga is, like you're getting the passion and stuff behind it. It's creepy. It's really creepy. Anyway, cool story though. Cool story, bro. And then,
Reminds me of like Braco from Street Fighter.
well,
What's his name?
the
is it
Striga
Blanca?
Striga that I'm talking about is that's not transformed to a monster. Yeah. The Striga I'm talking about was actually it was a princess. Like it was a princess that got turned into a Striga for some reason. I can't remember why. I wouldn't tell you anyway, but I
Basically,
can't remember why.
Beauty and the Beast.
No. Well, if you think about it, but she became the beast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She got cursed and turned into a beast.
Yeah, so a lot of it was like that because you've got this big beautiful castle that was empty, and there's this beast that lived there, and there's this beautiful maiden that wandered around. So it was a little bit like Beauty and the Beast.
Clock came to life and the candlestick.
No, I don't think that happened. That really was a beautiful movie, though. That's one of my favorites. Beauty and the Beast is awesome. But going back to CD Projekt Red, fantastic. To your point, fantastic. In to its credit, right? The CEO has come out and basically apologized. She's like, "Listen, we lost our way."
Yeah, he
Because-
went full fall on his sword, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I don't think he needed to go that far because for what it's worth, well, I don't know, maybe for the console players, but on PC, the game is. I mean, seriously though, the console
PC
players.
games, part of the appeal of PC games is sometimes the bugs and the chaos and stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, I just pretended the entire time when I played The Witcher that I was just like my character's cybernetic implants were just glitching out. Like, so every time somebody would like do the T shape on the motorcycle or whatever, I was like, it's so funny.
T-pose.
Every time I lost hours of progress, I was like, it was some sort of crazy glitch.
Oh, stuck in a temporal rift. Oh,
Yeah,
weird.
it sucks.
Technology.
But for what it's worth, I told him like I didn't have any huge game breaking bugs, but there's parts where you look on on the PS4, like I felt so bad for those folks. Like you'd see some of the stuff that they'd see at because they're not all rocking 2080s. You know what I'm saying? So it's for once in my life I get to go, oh man, check that out. I got some really rocking system. You know, usually I'm like 6 generations behind.
Scratching by with a 560 NVIDIA.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Well, my first one was a 1660, and then I went to a 660, like to literally 10 years later. But anyway, no, it was a great game. But it's like it feels like they lost themselves along the way somewhere. They got whether it was star power with Johnny Depp, Keanu Reeves again, whether it was a star power with him, whether it was and he did great for what it's worth. Johnny Silverhand was great in the game. I thought it was great, but there were parts in the game.
Is that the character's name?
Johnny Silverhand. That's pretty cool. He's a rock star. But there's parts in the game where you're going, hold on a second, that felt weird. Like there's parts of the story where am I wrong? It does. No, it felt like you were going down one path and all of a sudden it just stopped off and you're like, whoa, that was
Kind of abrupt.
yeah. In the epic nature of some of the like the heist, right? What like the first actually, you know what? Not even that. Like the first quest that you go through, the very first one, basically the intro. Your first quest with Jackie, fantastic. Just in all, you just the epic scale of it. You're just in an apartment, you're doing your thing, and then some stuff happens, and then like I'm not gonna ruin it for you, but what's the name of the trauma team? You see trauma team come in the first time, and like, whoa! Like it's just this feeling of whoa! Like, and it's just a tutorial. It's teaching you how to. I
remember seeing that in some of the demos.
It was in the reels. Yeah. So
wasn't it like they came in, they checked their insurance status, whether or not they were going to treat them and stuff?
Yeah, well, pretty much everybody's got chips in, right? And that was one of the that was one of the things is trauma team noticed that no spoilers.
He's got a premier platinum package.
That's it, and of course that's the
the Polycom trauma team.
That's the epitome of this Corpo thing that they keep talking about,
Just
right?
kidding. Even if it was the Polycom trauma team and he had a platinum premier package, they still wouldn't support him.
They wouldn't know who he was.
Yeah, they wouldn't know who he
was. You've got the wrong service platform
for me to know who you are.
Jimmy Christmas. Anyway, that hurts a little bit.
Feel some kind of a way?
It's a little bit.
You ever going to deal with them again?
But that was the first thing.
To make you feel better?
That was the first thing that you saw with Trauma Team. That was they'll always be around, unfortunately. That was one of the first things you saw, and they had some great products for what it's worth. They did but that was the first thing when you saw Trauma Team, it like blew you away. You're like, whoa, this is a really big world. And there's parts of the world where you're starting to go, you're going, and all of a sudden it just like cuts off, like a character cuts off in the middle of the conversation, like the strange. I don't know. There was a YouTube I watched a little bit ago. It was called the Awkward NPC. Where you're having this like big long adventure and stuff, and the characters like you're having this big like huge like bonding moment and stuff.
That's pretty much Skyrim, right?
And then you get to the end of the quest, and the character walks off like they never knew who you were. It's like that, and you're like, aw, like I feel like that hurts my heart. Like sometimes I just have to pull away from the PC and go, I gotta go hug the dog or something, you know.
Thanks for helping me find my long lost son. It was a wonderful adventure we had.
And then wander off, and you're like, you walk back up to him like, lovely weather we're having today. They start yelling about chickens or something. But yeah, you saw a Trauma Team, and all of a sudden it opened.
Keep your hands in your own pocket, sneak thief.
And then the next time
you see something,
like the next time you see Trauma Team, they're in this one spot
Arrows
in the
quiver,
game.
Archer.
They're in this one spot in the game, and they never move. And like no matter if it's day, if it's night, if you could literally be bringing bedlam down around them, like hell. Like springs forth, which is basically just trying to park your car in the game, and everything's going on around them, and they're in the one spot and they're not doing anything else. You're like, man, that was a really big missed opportunity. Trauma Team, that is one of the coolest thoughts and concepts of the game, was the fact that somebody's monitoring at all time, depending on your health insurance coverage level, that if it drops below something, these dudes flying on, not only do they fly in on this armored ship, right, come in. Not only do they
militarized EMS.
Well, that's it.
Martial arts.
That's it. These guys. Did I win? Did I get them? That's it. They come running out,
Johnny.
And they've got these crazy, like they've got full body outfits on. They've got submachine guns and stuff. They
Tactical
come out
Trauma Team.
Full tactical. They're clearing the space and stuff, and it tells you a lot about it. But it's like, give me more Trauma Team, man. Like I wanted to see more Trauma Team. I was like,
maybe a game expansion where you get to play as a Trauma Team member. Did I just make CD Projekt Red lots of more money?
No, you're everybody that's read anything on the game is going, man, but they had a whole max tag thing where you could become a max tag guy, and then they cut that out. They probably did. There's probably some dev out there that's going, I spent 6 months building a Trauma Team quest line in some freaking executive cut
jack leg and a tie.
Yeah, some corpo. That's funny that's what came up. Yeah, they're doing good too. That's what I sold out last week.
Let's not put that on screen.
A couple weeks ago.
That might be a little too much.
Yeah, no, they're doing good too.
Hodl.
Anyway,
till April.
So I don't know. I started. What life path did you start with, Scotty? Corpo. Yeah, I did that too. I started with Corpo.
What are your options?
You got Corpo, Nomad, and then Street Punk. And basically, it matters for about 13 seconds into the game, and then it doesn't matter anymore.
Really?
But I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, apparently they had all these whole things planned and stuff going into it. But for what it's worth, once you get to the heist, or once you get to Jackie and your very first thing, they were all supposed to converge. It
funneled you pretty hard.
It funnels you. Yeah, you're on rails.
Rails the whole time.
You're on rails. Matter of fact, probably the first 10 hours of the game.
That's a shame, because I kind of felt like it was supposed to be open world, create your, choose your own adventure
That's where you get, and this is where I get frustrated.
Where Corpo takes over the vision,
because
right?
you see the vision of the developers, right? And if you believe anything that you read, the developers started this game, they got super excited about it, and there are some really, really hardworking developers there.
Yeah.
But here's what I understand. I'm probably totally wrong here.
I remember watching the launch event.
My position is I love Cyberpunk and I love CD Projekt Red games, but
Well, I was gonna say I remember watching the launch event, and Elon Musk threw the ball bearing at the window, right?
those poor guys. You know what? It's funny.
Then he turned and said, "You're breathtaking."
Yeah, and you know what? You know what I loved about Elon doing that is like he never yelled at anybody, at least not publicly, right? Didn't miss a beat, just kept going on. He's like, "Oh, I guess that's."
He's like,
yeah, he laughed. He's like, "Oh, I guess we got some bugs to work out or something like that." That was amazing. And you know, somebody was behind screen, like some poor guy that was not the CEO of the company was behind screen going, "My life just ended."
I want you
know?
to think though about how much more publicity that got.
Oh, dude.
Because of the
think he did it on
demo
purpose.
failure.
I think he did it on purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm convinced that when the Cybertruck actually like releases, it's not going to look anything like that. It's going to be a completely different product. It's going to be totally mundane.
They better not. I want a Big
No.
Daddy Tesla Cybertruck,
Nope.
dude. I want it so bad.
They got
so awesome.
everybody
You kidding
to
me?
buy in.
I would drive that thing around.
They got everybody to buy in for that.
For what it's
And-
worth, in Cyberpunk, from a distance through a scope, most of the cars look like that.
No, yeah, ATV DeLorean.
That's
over
what it
there.
looks like on the PlayStation 4.
Oh yeah, yeah, without a scope.
Backwards Down syndrome DeLorean over there. That's not what people are going to get. They're going to get something completely different that looks normal on a road, isn't made of like 40 tons of stainless steel that would murder anyone it touches on the road.
I think you're delusional, my friend.
No, that ain't coming out like that.
That's Elon's biggest troll. He's in, man. Like he's in. What's he gonna lose? What's exactly gonna lose? Listen, he's building those things. Look at that.
Because what he's going to do is he'll be able to fall back on some fine print in the pre-order thing. When people say that I ordered this, blah, 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 blah.
He sold live flamethrowers, dude. That actually worked.
And
He
the
owns a boring company.
National
They're
Transportation
literally
Safety
drilling
Board.
holes under LA.
The NTSB is going to come out.
They have
and he's going to
earthquakes.
use them. He's going to use them as his. I couldn't make my vision, guys. They restricted me too much.
Don't talk down about Big Daddy Elon, man. He's
I'm
gonna
not.
do it.
I'm just telling you.
I'm telling you, no. You believe in Daddy Elon, man. He's gonna do it, man. Look at that.
Papa,
Look at that.
Papa, please.
Yeah, look at
Papa
that, dude.
bless.
He made a flamethrower. He sold a flamethrower. You don't think he's gonna sell an ugly truck? Seriously?
I mean,
It's pretty amazing.
It's not really a flamethrower. Have you ever seen it in action?
I'm looking at it right now. Look at it.
It's more of like a barbecue searzall or something like for your grill.
Does it throw flames?
No, not really.
Look at that. Look at this right there. Look at this guy. Look at him with the
No.
beard and the hat and stuff, man. Look at how legit this guy is. And that's totally
That's
it right
it, dude.
there.
That's
It's flowing
it.
flames.
It's throwing flames.
It's flowing flames. Okay, but it's literally doing it. See? Look at that.
That's.
What you want Agent Orange in there?
I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna clear my driveway. I'm gonna de-ice my driveway with that. That's not a flamethrower.
It's throwing flames.
Does hot sticky
Look at
napalm,
him. Look at how excited that guy
Does
looks.
hot sticky napalm end up on whatever you're pointing that thing at? It ain't a flamethrower.
Wow.
Bro, if I can't cook an entire pillbox full of Japs, then it ain't a flamethrower. Shout out to my boy Woody Williams, Medal of Honor recipient,
Wow, baby.
West Virginia.
All right. Well, all I'm saying, the Cybertruck's gonna look like that. I believe in Elon.
Have y'all ever heard that story?
No.
Dude,
It sounds.
Woody Williams. Hey, there you go. He was a
was
Marine in
fast.
Vietnam. He was at the Battle of Iwo Jima. This dude was an ammo runner, essentially, and was running back and forth with cans full of machine gun belts and canisters for the guys who were running the flamethrowers. One of the flamethrower guys got wounded or something, and after already making several trips back and forth to the beachhead running ammo, throws the flamethrower on himself because he's seeing dudes get mowed down from these pillboxes. Dude runs up on top of several of these pillboxes, pokes the nozzle of that flamethrower down into the air vent, barbecues everybody inside.
That is. So that's a conversation.
Several times.
I get that's a flamethrower, but seriously, can you imagine if you actually tried to sell one of those? Those things are barbaric.
So that's the Cybertruck. What we're gonna get is a stainless
think
steel
so.
colored Camry.
No, I don't think so, dude. I don't think so, man.
Mark me. Mark me.
I believe in it. I believe in it. Big Daddy must, dude. It's gonna happen. Listen, that's something else I want to talk about eventually. You talking about like what had to go through that guy's mind? What had to go through the people's in the pillbox's mind? No, I get it, but like, what are they doing in that situation? Like that stuff bothers me.
Oh no, absolutely.
They don't want to be
That's
there.
awful. They shouldn't have been there.
They shouldn't have been there.
That's a whole other conversation. War.
Was it the 1914 Christmas or the 1915 Christmas in World War I? Like, we'll get into that at some point. But anyway,
we're not historians, Chris. We are not historians.
Quote. We are not historians.
Quote. I'm not a historian. End quote.
But yeah, no, that's awesome. We'll talk about that at some point. That's a little heavy. I don't want to think about it right now. But yeah, the Christmas Truce in 1914. It really was. It was amazing. And there's a great series. And if you've never listened to it, Dan Carlin, go listen to it. It was called Blueprint for Armageddon.
Yep.
Yeah, it is like, I think it's like 6 long. Hardcore History 50 to 55.
Hardcore History.
It's like it's for sale for right now for $13. Like if it was for $130, it'd be worth it. Like it's amazing. It's like 30 hours or something.
Yeah, each episode's a couple hours, and there's 5 parts.
Yeah, there's 5 or 6 parts. It's
2 or
like
3 hours each.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've listened to that one probably 4 times, and actually I kind of want to listen to it again. Like it's just
Ghosts of the Ostfront. If you haven't listened to that,
absolutely terrifying is what it is. And you talk about the barbaric, the barbacy that we.
That was 2. That was World War II.
The Eastern Front.
The Eastern Front with the
Germans
Russians
and the
Germans.
Yeah, and there's some of the stuff that those guys went through
Nasty.
were just. And again, like, and we'll get into this later in the different spots because I don't want to talk about it tonight because we're talking about video games, but
and Corpo.
but my question is this: like, I think they asked this question a long time ago. Like, what are they there for? You know, like if you think about the person on the front line doing the thing, you've got nationalism, you've got love of country, and all that kind of stuff. But if you think about most of the wars fought in history, just think about, you know what? Let's go back 2,000 years ago. Think about Rome.
Mm-hmm.
What were those legionnaires there for? Right?
Conquest.
Plunder. For the king, right?
For Rome.
For the Caesar.
For the glory of Rome.
And then like, you know, one of the best movies ever created. Of course, it's 100% historically accurate in every you know, way, shape, and form. Gladiator, right?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Dumb and Dumber.
When you look at so going back to the Corpo, just give me 1 second to sidestep that for a second. But when you look
that
at
was a great movie.
Like what happened to him? Like, and I'm sure that happened all the time. Like what happened to him? He goes out, he does all these things. He oh my gosh! And see, I'm slipping into Corpo now. He accidentally makes somebody mad that was above him, and then before you know it, you got 8 people backstabbing him, and he turns out being sold as a gladiator. Like that stuff had to happen.
Sold into slavery.
And all that guy wanted to do was to go home with his wife and his kid and raise wheat, grow wheat. Like that's all he wanted to do. Like coddle it and rear it.
I like the one of the opening lines. I'm not going to be able to quote it perfectly, but one of the other generals or leaders of his army says something about the barbarian hordes that they're fighting, the Gauls, and he says, don't they know when they're beaten? And he says, would you?
That's
and
it.
The guy's name, and he says, would I?
Maximus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, and that's the thing, and think about that. Like,
would you, Gracchus?
What's a more noble thing to fight for than your home? You know.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Rome's fighting for conquest.
That's right. That's right, for the glory of Roma.
And the Gauls are fighting to keep the Romans from conquering them.
That's right. Yeah, but that's weird.
Great soundtrack too.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. That was one of the first. This was back when surround sound. Do you guys have like a sound bar now? Because remember, surround sound used to be the thing. That was one of the first ones I watched in like Dolby 5.1 surround sound. Mm-hmm. And I remember when that original scene was first started, when they were lighting the arrows and stuff in the very beginning, and they started shooting the arrows and stuff into the Gauls. And then you could see, or the barbarians, because the Gauls were in France. But anyway, they're shooting into the barbarians, and then the German hordes. But you could hear like the arrows and stuff like whipping past you, man. It was pretty awesome.
That's right. They were in Germania, weren't they?
Yeah, they're going after.
So that would have been the German Celts,
Germanic horde.
Germanic,
at that point.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but anyway, so that was pretty neat. Like that was cool because you could hear it like whipping by and stuff. Pretty amazing. It's a great movie. Is that you watching the whole? Oh, it's a trailer. I was like, dude, you watched the whole movie on YouTube now? That premium YouTube is something, apparently.
Elysium.
Yeah. If you find yourself walking in blue skies and field of grain, and you're alone, don't worry. You're already dead.
The war's over for you. For you're in Elysium.
Don't worry.
And you're already dead.
Yeah, that's great, dude. I love that movie. I gotta watch that movie. I haven't watched that movie with my daughters yet. I need to. Yeah, she's been in Deuces. Perfect. Not that Elysium. That's totally different.
Not it.
Yeah, no, Elysium is where.
Not too much.
Yeah. So anyway, CD Projekt Red, they're gonna get on their game, man. They're gonna fix it. They promised everybody they're gonna fix it. Patch 1.1 just came out. But the whole shift from the developers, because if you believe anything that people on Reddit post, and you should, because these are the geniuses of the internet, seriously, even smarter than 4chan. So, but when you start reading some of the stuff,
The infamous hacker known as 4chan?
the infamous hacker, that's right. I've spoken to 4chan before, actually. He's actually not that bad. Nice guy.
Hanging out with QAnon?
Big thing about tendies constantly, though. I mean, it's just I like obsessed with them, but won't. Anyway, so yeah. So if we're watching, don't do it. I will. Seriously, I will unplug your mic if you please don't do it. That is just awful, man. Oh, children. I work with 5-year-olds.
What are you, 5?
What are you, 5?
So yeah, so we were. Gosh, I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh, so if you listen to the folks that are on
The geniuses on Reddit.
Jesus on Reddit, yeah, great group of folks, really. But if you listen to them, like there's some folks that they've got on there that are posted
Great
like,
Americans.
as developers.
Some of the best.
The best I've ever known. I read the manual, where they've talked about that like developers, they've spoken to developers, whether they have or not, right? And they'll get up there in the post and they'll say, hey, this is what we were going to do. This is what we ended up doing. This is what the Corpos, forced us to do, which is super ironic because if you as you're going through, it's like everywhere is talking about death to Corpo and the death of free thought and all this stuff inside Cyberpunk, which is interesting. So it's like the what you can see that
Kind of telling, too.
studio starting to become
Mm-hmm.
is like everything that most of the folks are raging. You could kind of feel the developers.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
You can feel the
Yeah.
devs, the rank and file, the ICs, the you and me's, raging against this big corpo machine that's telling them you're going to do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, when you look at the story, a lot of the stories have said like back in 2011 after it first got announced, or it was in 2011 it got announced, something like that. It was like 7 years ago, so I guess it was 2013, somewhere around there. Anyway, when it first got announced, like for a couple years, these original devs, the guys that work on The Witcher and stuff, the folks that worked on The Witcher and stuff were there, and these folks were working on it and it was good. And then all of a sudden they started with the crunch time, the constant crunches.
Yep.
So what you have is after a couple of years, there was this like mass exodus, like out of CD Projekt Red, where a lot of folks left. So now what you've got is sorry, I gotta do this thing. Now what you've got is a bunch of new, and if you've ever coded before, one of the worst things to do is to come in behind somebody else's code to try to figure out what the heck they're doing.
Try to decipher that nonsense.
Listen, I don't care how much commenting they've done. It's never enough, right? In getting inside the head, especially if something's unfinished, of where somebody was going on something,
Mm-hmm.
it takes forever to figure out what they're doing, and you're never really going to hit the original vision. You're just not.
Yeah.
It's almost easier to scrap the whole thing and start over. And that's what the game feels like. It feels like you've got a bunch of folks that have come in. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to.
You're having a great time with it.
You've
been.
I don't want to admit this out loud, but Galaxy tells me that I've spent 180 hours in game. Now,
jeez.
sometimes, okay, some of those is when I left and walked upstairs and fell asleep
Had
overnight
a pause,
or something.
but
Okay,
you're still in the game.
that's right. So there's a lot of that, and a lot of times I was working on something and I literally just wanted the background sounds going because it is absolutely amazing.
That reminds me of that. What was that game? The dinosaur game.
Arc.
Oh my gosh! I picked up this game because these guys were goading me into it,
Dude,
and they would not stop. It's only
Autism
it's like
Arena, man.
$29.
That game was amazing. It was so
no,
much
it
fun.
was so
It was
autistic
so-
and stupid.
Arc
And
was terrible.
The first time I launched this game, it got hung up on one of the loading screens, and I was like, "Well, I was running an NVIDIA 560 at the time,
Uh-huh.
and my system was pretty underpowered for it. And I was like, well, you know what?
My 2080 Ti still has problems with that game for
Yeah.
what it's worth. Like
So-
I'm still running like 20
Well, it
frames
was
a
stuck
second
on
or
the
whatever.
loading screen, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go on to bed I'm gonna let this thing run, and when I come back tomorrow, it will have finished its initial download, install all the stuff that it needed to do, and I'll just shut it down in the morning, and things will be good to go. It was still stuck, so I ended up having to kill the app and relaunched it, and it worked. And I played like a grand total of like 2 rounds with you guys. Friggin' chucking grenades at each other constantly.
What
and
other
dropping
game?
a friggin' wall.
What other game can you spawn 64 Tyrannosaurus Rexes on your buddies?
I tried to
seriously.
That's true.
You just can't do it.
So I tried to return the thing. I went on Steam. I submitted like at least 3 tickets trying to return this game, and I keep getting the canned response back from Steam. It's like, you can't return it if you played more than 2 hours. I'm like, I haven't played more than 2 hours. I sat in a friggin' locked up loading screen because this game is crap. And then I never get a response back from anybody.
Like
I'm like, just let
ago,
me return it.
This was longer than 3 years ago. He's still mad about it. It's so funny.
I'm still trying to return it. I've got a calendar
You should
appointment.
try it again.
At least once a month. I fire it up Steam, send in a support ticket, and they laugh at me.
That was it. That was the most fun time. Is there's this little. The map is beautiful for what it's worth, but there's this little cove that you go into where there's
It's
like
a neat game. I just hate
mountains
the
around
people
and
I was
stuff.
playing it with.
Touche. Where these little mountains and stuff, and it was funny because the first thing he did is we had figured out how to literally spawn dinosaurs on each other, right? So he came in and we're trying to show him the game, and we're flying around. He's like, "Where are you guys?" We're like, "Nothing." And all of a sudden we started spam.
Where are you guys? Nothing.
We started spam dropping dinosaurs on him from the sky. He's like, "What the heck is going on?" And of course, his machine's like barely moving anyway. So we're crashing his machine with all the stupid dinosaurs we're dropping.
I'm cranking along at a whopping 8 frames per second.
And we're freaking dying in vent, just cracking up. He got so freaking mad. He's like, "This game is stupid. I don't want to play this game." And then he could never return it because
Friggin' 29 something down the friggin' pipe because you guys are artards.
Hey, you know what? That was your payback for Arma.
Arma is a great game. I don't
Yeah,
know what
that's
you're
what you
talking
say.
about.
So is the Dinosaur Autistic Arena, man. I'm telling you. We had so much fun with that stupid game. Arma was like, it was
The walking simulator, you call it,
Oh
right?
my gosh, dude. We did that one mission and it was all, everybody was totally TAC ops. All right, guys, Bravo 7, you're heading this direction. Bravo 4, Charlie, get on my back. And here we go. We're going up, check my 6. There's 6 clicks out.
Get on
There's
my back?
There's enemies over on the 5th side. Whatever. So get down.
What kind of weird
and we
GI
run.
grunt scenario fantasy
I
you
was
got
in,
going on
I
in
was
there?
in your vent channel, dude. Don't tell me. So we're running along
You
for like
wear
an
your
hour.
buddy as a backpack. He's got your back, literally, that point.
We're running around for like an hour in one direction, right? Because apparently it's super realistic to do that, right? I'm like thinking, just spawn in a helicopter, or let's just freaking teleport up. No, we got to move 6 clicks to the east. We got to do that. We got to come up from the enemy, from the sun side of it and stuff. They're gonna smell your gunpowder when they get too close. You know.
For what it's worth, it wasn't that we had to go that far on foot. It's all the helicopter pilots kept crashing.
Absolutely terrible because it's really hard. That game is so
Apparently,
freaking hard,
flying
man.
a military helicopter
Apparently-
low level is tough.
It's difficult. So we freaking run. It's like an hour we're getting over there. I mean, it was funny because you're just seeing like explosions everywhere and people yelling and screaming. You talk about a frustration, an exercise of frustration, flying one of those little black helicopters in that game. I'm telling you. And of course, I'm there the whole time because they've got this little drone that you can fly around. Forget it. I'm just flying the drone around until it dies. That was hysterical. And then, of course, you get 6 miles away from where you first started, and then you find out you got the wrong ammo for your gun because who the crap can tell? Because there's like 800 different kinds of ammos and guns. And I'm a gun guy too. Don't get me wrong.
And then all of a sudden you just hear, and you're done.
And that was it, man. And it's like, you run, and then it's like, you hear the crack, which is absolutely cool, by the way, for what it's worth. But I usually only heard it once or twice, and then, dude, I'm dead. And it's because some AI, because I'm doing the right thing, right? Like I've got all the foliage on, I've got the grass on and stuff like that. Apparently I'm the only moron that plays that way, because if you turn all that stuff off, it's basically just like the flat earth, and you can see people just running across it, and it's like, I get that. I understand now.
Oh, that's why the AI is so much better than me.
And you get
because I played a half hour of this game and gave up on it.
And you get wiped out by someone you never saw. Probably what would happen if I would have ever been in the military, for what it's worth. And been friendly fire.
Dude, I don't know, man.
But anyway, yeah, so you know what? You deserve it. Because Arma, that game is... And my greatest joy, and I got to tell you this, my greatest joy of Arma is probably about once every 3 months. I'll call him up and I'm like, hey, man, I just want to let you know I just downloaded Arma. I tell him, I'm like, hey, man, so I downloaded Arma. And I just uninstalled it.
So,
or I'll send him a picture of it downloading Arma, and they get all excited like the first 12 times, and they get all excited, and then I'll just like send him later. It's been uninstalled, and it's like 50 gigs or something stupid.
on that note, let's talk about Star Citizen.
Oh my goodness gracious!
So this is
ouch.
Like what you were talking about earlier about a game being announced, about them doing funding for it, getting things like that going, and then the developers come in and screw stuff up, or the distributors or whoever it happens to be that comes in and just wreck stuff. The trick with Star Citizen, and what's really a trip about that to me, is that they come in and they intentionally said, we're not going to have a publisher, we're not going to have a distributor, we're going to do our own publishing and distributing. And then they did exactly what every other publisher and distributor does.
Turns out those are all red flags.
I still got faith.
Dude, look at him. Look at it right there.
Papa Chris Roberts.
Pre-production of the game began in 2010. I just want to let you know.
I'm just letting. It's going to be a great product when it finally.
That was 11 years ago.
When my grandkids get to play this, Chris, it's going to be an awesome product.
Listen, by the time they get that, like VR is going to be a thing of the past. By the time they get that thing out, I'm serious.
Listen, the first time my grandson jacks into the Matrix and fires up Star Citizen,
I can almost play the game now. Like my computer is almost ready to play that game. Like it's almost getting there. It's ridiculous, dude. Like that game is such a disappointment in so many different levels. And probably the best guy, what was the guy's name? Pat something or whatever that was running the weekly when they were in their big found.
The Next Great Starship and all that
Yeah.
that they did. That was a cool era.
That was super
like
cool.
When they first started out and they got community modders together to design a ship, and they had a multi-parts, like a reality show almost, showing off how these guys developed. And they chose one to include in the game and everything, and even brought one of the guys on as a developer. I don't know what happened. Like,
nope, me neither.
Then a couple years later, stuff just started to fall apart, and I think that it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. They said, "We're going to be our own producer. We're going to be our own producers." And then they acted just like every other game producing company out there and screwed up their vision.
Yeah, they did. They lost. I think they went too big. Like Squadron 42, that was supposed to be out 2015.
Do you remember the A-list of actors they had?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They're all dead now. I think they're literally aged out.
They had Andy Serkis, Rona Mitra,
dead.
Gillian Anderson.
Dead. She's never going to die.
Mark Hamill,
dead.
Luke Skywalker himself.
Yeah, he died. He died years ago.
It's a ridiculous. Here you go.
Look at that. Liam Cunningham. I don't even know who that is.
They got John Rhys Davies.
Yeah, dead.
He played
Andy Serkis.
He played Sala.
Dead.
He played Sala in the Indiana Jones.
It would have been great. It would have been great if they would have gotten those guys while they're still alive
Gimli
to come in and do it.
Gimli in Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wish they would have done it.
Gary Oldman, dude.
Dead. Yeah. It would have been.
Liam Cunningham. That's the dude from The Onion Knight, I think it was, from Game of Thrones.
I think he might be still alive, actually.
No, he was in Game of Thrones. Everyone died.
Oh, yeah.
That whole,
even the actors that killed him later.
Everyone died in the 7th season. We never got to see an 8th, right? Are we agreed?
I'm still waiting for the 8th season to come out. Wow, I'm still waiting for it to come out. It's going to be amazing when they finally come out, the 8th season. I'm looking forward to it.
You got faith in George?
Listen, you know what? You know what I'm going to tell you? Ready?
Mm-hmm.
George R.R. Martin is gonna finish the Game of Thrones series, the Song of Fire and Ice.
It's going to finish Star Citizen.
Will be done before Star Citizen ever releases. That's my prediction right there.
How long is it? How long is it after he finishes that you're going to make it to the first objective in Arma?
There's objectives in Arma? What? I thought it was just running around randomly. And that map is beautiful though, for what it's worth. It's a really pretty map. It's a nice big map. They did. I don't know.
Open world.
I really wanted to love that game. I really do. And I know there's a lot of people that do that are a lot smarter than me that know how to play that game.
undeniably, there are a lot of people that are a lot smarter than you.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely, yeah. But look at that, 2013, that game came out. I still don't think I've killed a single bad guy, not one. I tried so hard.
I'm pretty sure you killed yourself once at least.
Oh yeah, constantly. If standing in front
You
of
may have killed me.
if standing in front of an enemy fire line over and over and over and over again is killing yourself.
Do you want to think of me as a bad guy?
See, it's actually more of a suicide simulator, I think, than just a running simulator. You just run right into the enemy every single time with no weapons whatsoever. By the way, apparently.
What games are you excited about right now? What's coming out?
I'm still super excited about Cyberpunk, man. I really do. I think Cyberpunk's really.
But that one's out.
Not really. It's like, I don't know, like a half of it's out. I feel like maybe a quarter of it's out. Yeah.
Anything VR that's scheduled to come out that you're kind of pumped about?
You know, I'm bad. I haven't. You know what I've got is The Walking Dead sitting on my PC that I haven't played yet.
I haven't touched it
We
yet.
haven't messed it yet. And you know what I really want to do is play some. He got to play some Beat Saber the other day, man. And I really want to get back to playing some Beat Saber. I haven't played Beat Saber in forever. Beat Saber's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
See Beat Saber tournaments and all that kind of stuff, man. Killer stuff, dude.
Yeah, my youngest was like, they called while we were at work. Scotty's looking over my shoulder, and she's like, "Scotty, I want to have a Beat Saber tournament.
Dude, I love
and
it.
we'll have prizes. Whoever wins gets to go to the dollar store and get the toy."
I mean, perfect. That's the best plan ever that I've heard. I like it. Let's do it.
I'm looking forward to the toy.
Yeah.
Them's fighting words.
You can find some weird stuff. We've got a new Dollar. Is it Dollar General? Dollar General. We got a new Dollar General up the mountain towards us. Like it just popped up there somewhere.
They do that.
It's less than 2 miles away from the house. I've never seen it before. It's huge. By the way,
I heard a theory about that. Right? I heard that Dollar Generals release seeds in the form of their bags, their grocery bags, and wherever one lands, you can almost count on a new Dollar General springing up.
I hope I don't go in one where they're like gestating or whatever it is.
I heard it makes about as much sense as the back rooms.
To eat the bag. To you.
I heard you could measure distance now in Dollar Generals. How many Dollar Generals do you live from here?
Two? No, three. No. Depends on which way you drive. Actually, I think we're $2 Generals away. Though, is it 2?
It's either 2 or 3.
That's either $2 or $3 General. Yeah, that's a really good point though.
They're popping up like daisies, but the funniest thing is they're right next to each other or across the street from each other. It's like we just got Subways, and literally every Subway.
Which supports my theory. That supports my theory that they are that the grocery bags from Dollar General are seeds.
Is that the Dollar General didn't far too far away from the tree? Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. I said my theory. It's not my theory. I've watched a video on it or something. Some stupid video.
Well, you have
that
to
kid
cite the
showed me.
video. You can't just start randomly talking about.
All right, Scotty, look it up. We got to look it up.
No.
Dollar Generals are Dollar General bags are seeds.
It is funny though, like, cause right in town, right, there's a Subway across the street, and a Subway a little bit more difficult to get to across the street from each other. Like they're right across the street from each other. Same thing with Dollar Generals. You go down,
And
like,
it's not even like one is bigger than the other. It's like barely.
yeah, it's
And, like,
basically the same thing.
Yeah, one is a part of a Walmart, and then like the other one's a part of like a strip, and then it's like, why would you do that? And it was almost like, oh, maybe they're gonna move in with Walmart, or maybe they're just occupying space or something. But no,
It was some kind of Southern something YouTube channel.
But
the Dollar General stores.
You gotta
Dollar
wonder.
General Southern something.
You gotta wonder if like the Walmart, like Subway folks, when they go out on break, they just stare enviously across the road because the other Subway people can see outside.
I think they're all the same people.
Do you think there's like Subway turf force?
I think they're just.
'cause they got windows.
They got windows, yeah. They can
got
see outside.
windows.
Oh
I
yeah,
was
that's the one. That's the
Dunkin'
one. Yeah.
Donuts.
The whole thing was about how they're the bags are seeds and they constantly. Oh yeah, there you go.
Single Dollar General sale. No big deal, right? Okay. 2 days later.
Did he say Dollar General sell?
Boom! They split. Did you see that? We're not building new stores. They're building themselves.
What are those red things?
Oh, those are red boxes. I'm wondering if that's the movie you're looking for.
I didn't want to say anything, but last week I went and did a site visit at store 739. I went in the back to do an inspection, and there was another smaller Dollar General back there, fully staffed. They said they were store 739.
All right, cut it.
Fully staffed.
You want to watch the video? Watch it on your own time.
Fully staffed.
And that's what I'm saying about the Subways and the Walmarts. I think the employees just they finish their shift here and they just migrate over there, and I don't think they ever leave. I think they're stuck in a loop.
It's like the giant Costco in Idiocracy.
Because every time you go in Walmart, you look over there and the Subway's closed.
That's a really good point.
I've never seen it open.
That's a really good point.
I've never seen it.
Wait a minute. I'm going to get to the bottom of this now.
So about these video games, did we just create a new plot for CD Projekt Red?
I'm just wondering if the Subway is kind of like the back rooms. See?
You got me now. I'm hooked on this now.
There you go.
Not really. Not really.
Yeah, I can't.
Dollar General Simulator. That's great.
It's gonna be like Plague Inc.
Boy. How's that game been doing since the plague started?
Well, they actually flipped it around, and now you can be you can put out vaccines.
Vaccine Inc. Really?
Yeah, seriously. No, you can decide to do a vaccine instead of. No, I'm serious. I checked it out the other day. I'm dead serious. I guess they're
So you
feeling.
get to play as Fauci.
I guess they're feeling the heat a little bit, right? No, Biden. He's the one that's putting out all the vaccines, man. Fauci didn't do anything.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah, you can do the vaccines now. It's pretty
Scotty,
fun.
what about you? What games are you into? What are you feeling
One
right
of
now?
the one of the quirks on the vaccines though is that it'll cause autism. It's right there. It's on the.
But I didn't get vaccinated. Maybe.
Cyberpunk right now.
Well, I mean, is there anything on the horizon that you're looking to?
Yeah, Cyberpunk 1.2.
I'm still
When they release the rest of Cyberpunk.
I'm still holding out for that Star Citizen, bro.
No,
It's
dude,
gonna
it's
happen.
never gonna come out. Just play Cyberpunk.
Maybe
instead.
a decent Mech Warrior game.
Nope, never gonna do it. Not now. Merc 5. When's that coming to Steam? Because they should start modding it soon. They're modding it now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Actually modding AI into it, so maybe that'll be worth playing sometime soon. So I'm not gonna buy it.
No.
Can't do it. I can't give Russ any more money.
Yep.
He's got enough of my money.
But
For
BattleTech games, I mean, BattleTech was pretty awesome.
BattleTech is awesome.
Yeah.
I can't.
HBS BattleTech, not to be confused with MWO
Harebrained
or
Schemes.
MW5.
I can't even pull the game up, man, because like that game, dude, for real.
I can barely watch the opening intro
Oh.
without tearing up a little bit.
I know, and you just want to sit there.
All right, I'm not gonna go. We need to do a BattleTech episode.
We're just talking about BattleTech.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you talk.
Could
about,
we not?
You talk about losing half your listeners. Like, look, see, you said BattleTech and Kelly
No,
left. That was it.
We're gonna,
we lost.
we're gonna
we
introduce
lost our entire listeners.
We're going to introduce at least 5 more people to BattleTech. There's my wife.
Oh my goodness.
Kids.
The BattleTech is fantastic, man, and the guys over
Deep,
at
rich lore.
well, the neat thing is it was Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones, and it has robots. That's the coolest part. You got big stompy robots.
It's great.
So it was Decision at Thunder Rift was one of the first books that I ever read, and Lori, I can't remember what her last name is.
Lori Kramer.
There you go. Was it Lori Kramer? Lori Kramer getting out of the Locust.
Lori Kramer Carlisle.
Carlisle. Well, yeah, eventually. But her getting out of the Locust.
Calmer.
You can't.
Gosh, now I'm messed up.
You can't spoil a book that was written in the 1980s.
Is it Lori? The
Yeah,
look up
Catalyst. Those are
the
the guys.
Gray Death Legion.
Dude, is Catalyst publishing that now? Oh, that's cool.
Gray Death Legion.
1986. That's it.
The when I found out the name of that character, Lori Calmer Kramer, something like that.
Nobody cares but you.
But I care.
Oh, this is painful. This is painful to watch.
No, you need to look up.
Tell them what to look up.
Oh, dag nabbed it.
Grayson Carlisle.
Yeah, the Gray Death Legion.
Gray Death Legion. Yeah. Gray Death. There you go. Legion. There you go. And then Lori, because that's what we're gonna do. Nope, she's not there. Oh, son. Actually, probably if you're on Sarna, if you're on Sarna, if you look up Locust, I bet you she'll be under Locust Pilot, because that was
Davis McCall. Oh, I just saw it. I literally just saw it.
It's Lori, I think.
Yeah.
It is. I don't see it. Trill 1, that's right.
Lori Calmer, right there in the middle of the page.
I can't see it.
Scroll down right
Oh,
there. Yep.
Calamar. Yeah. Anyway.
Lord Calmer.
Okay, boy, that took 30 minutes. but get like that was one for me. It was one of the most iconic.
Her being terrified.
Yeah, it was one of the most iconic
that.
scenes because he's sitting there with what's it called, an Inferno?
Flamethrower?
No, it's
Inferno launcher.
Inferno launcher, which was basically napalm. Right, she's strapped into this tiny little machine
that's overheating already.
And he's about to launch an Inferno launcher on top of the machine, which will color her hatch in napalm and basically cook her to death inside her bag. And she's sitting in a 20-ton machine with machine guns and all this kind of stuff, and the guy on the ground has got her trapped with this.
Wasn't there some kind of backstory to that? Like her family was killed in some kind of fire, and that's one of the reasons why she was so mortified about burning to death.
Well, I mean, I think we're all kind of mortified about burning to death.
Well, but there's a little bit extra there.
Yeah, there might have been, but yeah, that was one of the things, and that was when I knew. I was like, dude,
we're not going to do this now. I want to talk about BattleTech.
This was an awesome universe.
Epic.
I think we've started and stopped our BattleTech show. It's perfect. That was it.
That was pretty much all there is to it.
That was a nice little compact.
I'm done. Let's wrap this up.
Okay.
You got something else to say about games?
No.
What about you, Scotty? You got some game stuff you want to talk about?
Listen.
I encourage you to play more Beat Saber.
Yeah, I know.
It is a game that you play for a while, you get out of, you get back into. It's still just as fun.
Well, see.
When was the last time we played a game together?
Never. My problem with MechWarrior, probably. MWO, probably.
Imperium.
Oh, dude, that game is so dumb. I love it. That's one of my favorite games.
That is the perfect blend of like Minecraft and that Autism Arena and everything else.
It is. In that last game, and she was talking about it the other day too, because we actually have a bunch of machines now that we can play on. And she's like, no, I wasn't. I don't want to play that game ever again. But we got to giggling because last time we were playing with David and Scotty and everybody, and we started raiding bases and stuff, man. It got me giggling so hard because it was so dumb.
David's system can play it now.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. It was so dumb. Just the dumb stuff we were doing, the dumb ships we were making, and all the dumb stuff that we were doing, blowing things up, like friggin'
tons of dumb.
But it's so fun. That game has exploded too. Yeah. There's literally no point to it yet. Like there's this giant universe now that you can go to any star system, but every planet looks pretty much the same. You know,
there's the same 5 planets in every.
And there's no real story yet. I'm sure Elion, please fix. There's the stories I know they're getting to.
What is it?
Elion.
Elion, is that the name of the developer?
The developers. And there's only a couple of them too, by the way. That's another small studio.
It's like 3 Russian dudes sitting in a sweatshop somewhere.
Probably. And
just like grinding out code.
Their mom coming and bringing them chicken every now and again.
Chicken tendies.
You know? Yeah, it's good.
The Russian equivalent of Mountain Dew.
Mm-hmm. In
Panchkis.
I don't know what Russians drink. I don't know what they drink.
Vodka?
Yeah. Okay, so vodka. That's it. So they're coming to bring vodka. But that's an awesome game. I mean, if you think about what they did in the graphics, like
the blood of capitalists,
the graphics changes and stuff that they've done in there. But the fact that
just kidding, that's the Chinese.
The fact, literally lately, right, with all those billionaires going missing. So, but that's the coolest thing about that game is it's like Minecraft that you can build your base in flight, and that's for me is the coolest thing. Going into space and stuff like that, getting all the way into space and forgetting to fill up your air canisters and then dying and losing your ship in the void, and then having no way to get it back whatsoever because you're actually in survival mode.
Can't take the stars from me. That's a whole other thing. All right, listen, I've had a really good time.
This was fun.
This was a hoot.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I hope.
I thought I was gonna lose it a couple times. I'm not gonna lie.
Good stuff. Well, anyway, yeah.
I may have.
Thanks for joining us today, or whatever it is, and I don't know. Maybe see you next time.
Don't forget to spay and neuter your cats.
Oh no!
Tip your waiters and waitresses.
We're not gonna. I'm still battling with that, man, because Otto's like he's almost 1, and I don't want to I don't want to neuter him.
You're supposed to be signing off right now. I don't want to talk about your giant dog.
I want to let him get strong and tough.
Friggin' monochromatic Clifford over there, giant white dog.
He's so cool though. I'm gonna cuddle that dude. He's awesome. All right, bye.